Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week in Walnut, Mississippi, people don't know whether to blame an outsider or the town maniac when a college student suddenly disappears. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, an immense amount for joining us this week. Again, we're super excited, as always, for another just insane, crazy edition of panhandlery and crazy behavior, as we always find on Small Town Murder. First of all, thank you, everybody, for everything you do this week. We do appreciate it, everything you've done for us. Anyone who's not done it yet, please get on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon on your phone, and give us 5 stars. We don't understand why the reviews are important, but for some reason in their charts, it makes you go up the charts and it helps you on the business side. So if you want to help out the show, that's a good and easy way to do it, and we appreciate it very much for everybody who has done it. Doesn't matter what you say. You can't fix us with words.
Hell no.
So it doesn't matter. Say whatever you want. Say they told us to do this.
There you go.
And that's good enough for us.
Feet to the fire.
That's all. Go to shutupandgivememurder.com.
Get over there.
For everything, all of your small town murder needs, all of your t-shirts and those cool overnight bags we have now, all sorts of neat stuff. Also, all of your crime and sports stuff. If you're not listening to Crime and Sports, you're missing out. I assure you, you do not have to have any interest in sports to find it funny and to find it a good time, because it's just a story about an idiot and we're going to make fun of him for 2 hours.
Oftentimes we talk about those stats just to let you know how good they were.
Yeah, this guy was
this
really
week,
good.
The guy was a lineman, so
no stats.
No stats.
No stats.
He got nothing.
He played some football. Here's what he did that's bad. bad. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Listen to that. Check all of that out. Also, you can get tickets to live shows, upcoming live shows. Last week, we announced the new show in Nashville. That is April the 7th, The Small Town Murder, followed by A Crime in Sports on April the 8th. And that is almost sold out already.
Unbelievable.
So get your tickets now to that for April. Sorry, that's a weird one. Upcoming shows here this weekend. Right now, if you're listening, we are in Raleigh on Thursday, the night you're listening. That's sold out, though. Can't get tickets to that, but you can get tickets to Charlotte.
Come on over there.
Tomorrow night in Charlotte there. It's
part of a festival.
Part of some kind of festival. I don't know. It's at 6 o'clock. It's a weird time, but come in there and check it out.
It's early.
It's early.
That's nice.
There's time to do stuff after, I guess. I don't know what the advantage of that, of having a show at 6 o'clock is, but that's what time it is.
I'm going to get good and drunk.
Well, there you go. Plenty of time for that. And then we're in Atlanta on Sunday night.
Wandering, stinking to Charlotte.
Oh, beautiful. And Atlanta on Sunday is going to wander into the Buckhead Theater, which we were there last year. It's a gorgeous theater.
Unbelievable.
Really nice place. First class all the way. Good stuff. So come out and see us there. Going to be fun. Otherwise, most of our shows here are sold out for the rest of the tour. There's tickets left for Philly, tickets left for Washington, D.C. There's a good amount, not a good amount, but some left. Houston and Chicago, under 50 tickets left apiece for those. So get those. Those are going fast. And like I said, Nashville's almost gone for April. And we're going to announce soon a bunch of 2020 dates. Yeah. So don't worry, guys. Northwest, we know you. Yeah, we see you. Portland, San Fran, Denver, Salt Lake, we got you, and we're coming. Don't worry about that. We will be there. But never mind all of that stuff. Okay. Oh, well, we do have to say one more thing. If you want to be a producer, one of our heroes that we'll talk about at the end of the show, very easy to do that. Just head to patreon.com/crimeinsports or head over to PayPal and use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. And we are head over heels appreciative for every cent that anybody feels that they should give us. That's amazing. And we thank you so much for everything like that. And with that said, we got to do the disclaimer.
Okay.
It's a comedy podcast. This is a comedy show. The facts are real. We assure you that everything is real. We're not making anything up for comedic effect, or we'd be real jerks if we were making up these horrible facts for comedic effect.
And you are creative as fuck.
Wow, I'm really creative making up these stories every week. Yeah, so we're basically Stephen King in audio form at that point. So no, we're not that. Everything is real. All the facts are real. We try to go out of, we make fun of things. We make fun of small towns. We make fun of police forces that'll let a murderer go free. We'll make fun of a murderer, because what else are we going to do with him? We can't do anything. So what we don't do, that what we go out of our way not to do, is we try not to make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why?
Because we're assholes.
But
we're not scumbags.
Yes.
That's the way it works. We figure that makes it nice. We're all going to have a good time. That sounds good to you. Excellent. If not, probably not the best fit for you if you think true crime and comedy should never go together. But for the rest of you, I think it's time to lean back and clear the lungs. Let it fly.
Phlegm out of there.
Shout, shut up
and give me murder.
Let's go on a trip, Jimmy.
Fantastic.
What do you say?
Yeah.
Let's go. We were in Maryland last week.
We were
all the way. We were on the shore. It was like a vacation shore town. Oh, it's gorgeous there. It was beautiful. Vacation shore town. Now we're going to go down to Mississippi. We're going to go down to a town that's got a little less to offer, I would say. It's a little more downtrodden of a place, we'll say. I'm sure it's a wonderful place to be, but not for all the
not
residents.
For you?
Not for me personally. It's in Walnut, Mississippi. We're going here. Yeah, going down to Walnut. It's in northeastern Mississippi. It's right up it's like 3 miles from the Tennessee border in northern Mississippi. So it's way up there. This is kind of in the sticks.
Yeah.
This is in the hills up in that area here. It's about an hour and 15 minutes to Memphis, Tennessee there. About 3 hours to Nashville.
Yeah.
It will be April 7th and 8th. And nice plug there.
Well done.
And about 4 hours and 40 minutes to Petal, Mississippi.
My
which
word.
Is our last Mississippi
That was a long
episode.
Time ago.
Episode 94, November 2018.
Unbelievable.
And that one's way down of the opposite, way down in the southeastern corner. So,
in the
northeastern.
Swamp.
Yeah, down in the bayou, and up here we're up in the hills by Tennessee. So completely different Mississippi. I try to bounce around the states anyway when we do it. This is in Tippah County, Tippah County. I feel like they've tried to say another word.
Yeah.
Either it's a Native American word or they tried to say another word, and that's how it came out in the accent. They tried to say Tipper, and they were just,
The Tippah.
Tippah over there. Okay, that's some weird hill accent. I don't know. Zip code 38683, area code 662. It's about 5.5 square miles. Not a huge place, not a small place. It's a small town, but decent. Everybody has a little bit of land here. Okay. So the lots are big. We'll put it that way. Yeah. It's not stacking people, not track housing. There's not enough people to have track housing here. Motto of this town, quote, Mississippi's healthiest hometown.
Oh boy.
That's the motto. Or they have one that's internal just for the people, and they don't tell the rest of the state about it, but this is just what they say in town here. Quote, less fat than the rest of the state.
Yeah.
So, that's, I feel like, what they're trying to say.
The healthiest means we have 7 less McDonald's in this town.
Our life expectancy is over 43. We're doing great.
We don't cover everything in gravy.
You know how that goes. Mississippi, I don't know if you know, and if you live in Mississippi, you certainly do know, so this is not news to you, and it's not offensive because it's true.
You get it.
They are one of the less healthy states in the union as far as statistics go. A lot of gravy happening down there, like Jimmy said.
Just lots of smothered and covered.
Everything, yeah. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. They find a way to put gravy on things. It's a gravy shake, and the Dairy Queen. I'll have the gravy shake and then another shake for dessert.
Yeah, I'll have those mayo popsicles.
Yeah, that sounds
the
good.
Mayo all day. All day sucker mayo.
All day mayo. All day mayo, baby. So, all day mayo. So, history of this town here. This region originally home to the Chickasaw Indians. This was, obviously, there was a tribe that was related to the Choctaw who lived in southern Mississippi, who we talked about in the last one. The Chickasaws were big traders, apparently, and traded with the Europeans a lot, including for silver, jewelry, pottery, things like that. A lot of European jewelry and artifacts were found in the graves with Chickasaws. So they traded a lot with them. First, kind of white people to be here was DeSoto here, Hernando DeSoto, who, quote, discovered the Mississippi. He kept walking and then was like, shit, my feet are wet. That's a big fucking thing of water. Hey, I found a river. Good job, Hernando.
How do you discover the Mississippi back then with no sound? You can hear that motherfucker from Florida.
I've discovered the Pacific Ocean, everyone.
It's running real fast today.
You walk and there it is. Eventually it's there.
The Pacific is real muddy today.
Yeah, you have to... You find a holy grail. A giant river that literally slices a continent in half is not a find. That's just you ran into it by accident. Good job. You went that way. That's what you did. DeSoto went that way. And there was a river.
And there was nowhere else to go.
Nowhere else to go. Literally couldn't miss the river. If he was in this country, it would be impossible. It runs from goddamn border to border pretty much.
Unbelievable.
So, DeSoto here, him and his people moved northward here and followed the trail. And basically they followed the trail of what is now Route U.S. Highway 78. It's basically, they ended up, that's the trail.
Is that what goes north to south?
I guess it's kind of I think it's like a diagonal.
Okay.
And that goes to the Mississippi River. So they followed this out to the Mississippi River. And now in February 1836, this is a year before the removal of the Chickasaws began. This is the Andrew Jackson days, as you might imagine. And the Mississippi legislature divided the whole thing, divided the I guess now conquered Chickasaw land into 10 counties, and this is one of them. So that was how Mississippi started. Walnut itself, the town, was established in 1872. It was land that belonged to a guy named Henry Hopkins, who was a guy who just was here. Okay. Just an early guy who started to hang out here. Didn't do anything in particular except be here. Okay. Hey, he was here. Henry Hopkins was here. What did he do? He was here.
You didn't partner with Johns and create a big hospital?
Read the goddamn sign. It says he was here. Didn't say anything about doing anything. It just says he was present.
Understood.
So it was initially known as Hopkins, the town, because he was the only guy there, and then they changed it to Walnut in 1876 because who knows?
Because he didn't accomplish enough.
People were like, you know what? That Hopkins guy's kind of a dick. You guys notice that? You notice Henry's kind of a dick? Why are we all named? I don't want to live in a town named after him.
A whole bunch of trees around here that make a lot of nice shit that we put in pies.
Hey, people are they're gonna like send letters to us with his name on it.
Fuck that guy.
No, I'm not doing it. No. You know what? Walnut.
Well, name it after a goddamn tree.
That's right. So this was originally Walnut, a stopping point for the railroad that ran between two other towns, and the train needed wood and water to run, and it would stop near Walnut if it's because that was like kind of an in-between stop there. So it's kind of a refueling area for the trains. The name changed after a barrel of whiskey was dropped at Hopkins instead of Hopkinsville. That's how that worked, which was a village, another village that was a mile south.
Those bastards got our whiskey.
So,
Y'all change our name.
Now, that's the last goddamn time this is going to fucking happen. Can you imagine that shit? This is like getting someone's Amazon package.
I have to be sober till they get that shit back here?
Well, there's a street name that's very similar to mine that's very close to me where like delivery people have called and said like, I'm right outside your house. And I'm like, I guarantee you're not because I'm out here and you're definitely not here.
There's an extra INO, you son of a bitch.
So so that happens. So and we get people's mail from that address on that street. So I can't imagine what they're keeping over there of ours. Who knows? So this is one of those things. But a whiskey, once that happens, the name is changed.
And they're like fucking 2 blocks away.
That's what I mean. I don't care.
They didn't even
who lives here, who the settlers are. Your name's Walnut now. Okay, we're not going to screw this up.
Losing my whiskey.
The conductor had to back the train up a mile to Hopkinsville to deliver the whiskey barrel to the store owner.
They're only a mile away?
They're a mile away.
Why the fuck would you allow that?
I don't know why you would do that. That makes no sense. But, Jesus Christ. So, they all complained about this, and they said that they would call it Walnut because there was a grove of walnut trees near the town. So they were like, we'll stop this confusion because this is ridiculous here. And everybody agreed on it somehow, which is weird. The Southern people aren't agreeable.
No, they're not. They're
contrary if nothing else, you know. And I don't mean that as an insult because I'm contrary as well, so that's fine. But normally
it's sport to them, though.
That's what I mean. Normally you're not gonna. They're still fighting a war from 160 years ago that had a clear outcome.
That they certainly lost.
There's a definite documented whole thing, but you know what? We'll keep it going. It's like always, they always have it's like a constant game of Monopoly that's just never ending. Just like, want to pick up on that game? I don't know. It's over.
Right.
You have no more money. I have all hotels on everything. If you move,
I can start mortgaging shit.
Yeah, but you never know. I might be able to. I'll land on Baltic, and then I got a shot. You don't have anything on Baltic.
Every 6 or 8 moves, I get another $200. Let's just keep going.
Jesus Christ. So it's just never been a big town. Currently, right now, the town has, as this is from the town website, currently, the town has all the modern conveniences. That's what it says. All the modern conveniences.
Of what?
Of the modern age. Including, semicolon, a bank, a library, a city hall, a K through 12 school. So they have the kindergartners with the seniors. That's healthy. A grocery store, a video store. That is not a modern convenience. That is a modern convenience of 1997.
Yeah.
Modern convenience now. A tanning salon. We got us one of them red boxes. It's brand new. It's going to be excellent. A tanning salon, a drug store, a hardware store, a public swimming pool, a park, quote, a few restaurants, a couple dollar stores, and an antique store. That's, quote, all the modern conveniences that you need. So
in every town in America, you've got that in your goddamn living room because you've got a cell phone that can get you all of that.
That's the what now?
Yeah.
The what now? Pray tell, what are you talking?
Modern conveniences.
All the modern. So anybody out there, if you need more than that, you're just, you know what?
You're just being a gluttonous fuck.
That's what you are. You're
greedy
being,
bastard.
You're being a greedy dick, and you're the problem, and you're the reason the world is going down. All you need is a hardware store, a tanning salon, a video store, and a city hall, and you should be able to manage.
And that tanning salon is like a leather tanning salon, I'm sure.
Oh my god, that's funny.
They'll tan the hides.
Oh
for
yeah,
you.
that's no problem.
It's not tanning beds.
It's this place here. There's a furniture and an elevator manufacturing thing nearby.
Really?
Apparently, you can manufacture elevators, and some of the people even commute to Memphis all the way to there. So that's how it works.
Hour and a half.
That's
God,
why.
Damn it.
Well, I'll tell you in a sec. The population has gone up a lot in the last 20 years, and that's why there was. I found this account of somebody talking about playing on the cotton gin back in the day. An account of someone growing up in Walnut. These were just accounts of people growing up in Walnut.
Playing there?
Playing. And it said the gin was located right across the street. It was a place to go, explore, and to play. It was probably crazy to play in the gin because many young men were killed and maimed in cotton gins over the years. The whole place was run by a big steam engine. From this big boiler, there came a huge piston that turned a large wheel. All of this sounds very dangerous for a child to play inside. The wheel was used to turn a large belt. This belt was probably 2 or 3 feet wide, as I'll remember it. It was called the Child Eater. It just
we like to lay on it, and while it turned, we just roll.
It's called the Kitty Bone Stripper. That's a good one.
If you roll fast enough, you keep away from the pulley, and everything's okay.
It's all right. You're gonna be all right. You just lie in some fluffy cotton.
They just mentioned like 9 OSHA fucking violations.
This belt in turn was connected to other wheels, which were in turn connected to other belts to power the machine. So this was just a mess. The whole thing sounds very dangerous here. I used to watch the men operate the giant vacuum that pulled the raw cotton from the cotton trailers that were pulled under it by trucks or tractors. Good Lord. So he talks about sucking cotton for a while there. It's very, very weird. At one point, he says, at the end, it was at the end of a press that the real danger would take place. This was when the gin compress operator would try to compress all of the remaining loose cotton into one heavy bale instead of having one light bale. I assume the one heavy bale would save the cost of compressing one small blah, 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 blah. The last bale was very dangerous, and I used to watch the men as they nervously watched the bale as the banding took place. The extreme compression of the cotton made this bale very dangerous to band. If the bands broke, men could lose arms or legs or die. That's Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
What's worse?
What is happening? Good God. And they wanted to go play in that as children. What's going on?
Living in high cotton. Did you ever hear that song?
No.
This town is essential. That's its anthem for sure.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
You got to listen to that song, James.
It sounds like essential part of my library that I'm missing.
They are not forgotten.
Yeah, I'll get on Apple Music or iTunes or whatever afterwards, and I'll dig it up because I'm sure it's at the top of the charts right now.
You're going to be crying.
Should be easy to find.
You're going to cry for hating the song and that it's so hysterical.
That's amazing. So, population of this town here, it's gone up a lot in the last few years. It's about 1,100 right now in the whole area. It's up 112% since 1990. So that's a shitload of people. They've pretty much doubled their population since 1990. And that is people who are willing to commute to Memphis because they want to work there. But Memphis is apparently a very dangerous place lately. And people
it's been that way
people
for a long
are
time.
fleeing there. Yeah.
Are they really?
Yeah, it's kind of it's one of those cities that's losing people.
Small Chicago.
It's not doing well. I don't think Memphis, from what I understand. I know people come from like the north and then they want to move to the suburbs, and that's how that works.
Got it.
So a lot more females than males here, which is strange because it's a young crowd. Usually it's not like this. The median age here normally it's about 38. Here it's a little under 32. So it's a very young crowd. All the child demographics are high. Anybody under 20, everything is spiked up. Real high. Everybody has a lot of kids here. It's that type of place. Tons of kids. 41% married. Normally it's about 50%. A lot of more widowed people than normal. Divorce rate's a little higher than normal here. Single with no children, 21%. So young people, I don't know, good place to go. Married with no children is way less than normal though, which is interesting, and a lot more single people with children too. So it's a lot of kids, a lot of no kids, a lot of single people.
That
basically
makes sense. That young people are the only ones that are willing to drive 3 hours round trip every day for work.
Well,
old people aren't going to be like, sure, I'll do it.
Back east, that's not far.
Really? Are you shitting me?
In New York, people commute an hour to work, an hour and a half to work.
Hour's okay.
No
hour
problem.
and a half?
Easy.
Oh my God, that's half your day of work and travel.
My mother used to commute almost 2 hours to work each way.
Are you shitting me?
When I was a kid, yeah, all the time. She'd go to, it's normal.
Oh my God.
In traffic and everything else, in the winter and the snow.
12-hour goddamn day.
That's what I mean. That's what people do back there.
And then if you work overtime, forget it.
Because you can't afford to live in the city that you work in. That's the problem.
God.
So you have to live. I can afford to live an hour and a half away from my job. So that's how it works. It's brutal. That happens a lot back east. Yeah, that's why people move out west a lot here. So race here, about 84% white, about 13% black. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty much just white and black as we see here. 0.0% Asian, 3.1% Hispanic. So white and black, as most of the southern cities are. 67% religious. Yeah, as we know, it's just 50-50 normally here. 50% Baptist.
That's a lot.
As we know, Baptists are the Catholics of the South.
And James, half the people of the town, or half the people that are religious?
Half the people that are, I believe that's half the people that are religious.
Wow.
But still, that's a shitload.
Yeah.
That's, a lot of the town, man.
Yeah.
That's at least more than a third of the town is straight Baptist. 1.1% Catholic. Not playing that shit down there. They don't do that. A few Methodists, some Pentecostals, a couple Presbyterians here and there. 0.0% Mormon. Even the Mormons are like, not yet.
One.
No thanks. We'll get there eventually. You know what? We're going to try, I don't know, the Philippines or,
Guatemala.
Turkmenistan maybe. We'll give those a shot before
try
we hit
Haiti first.
Northern Mississippi, one of those places. Plus, I think that Baptist law is strong. They're like, that's a tough spell to break, guys. I don't know if we want to do that. We've all seen Mississippi burning. Let's just stay home, okay?
Tough spell to break.
That's a tough one. 0.0% Jewish, 0.0% Muslim, which is not that surprising down here. 20% Democrat in the last election, 78% Republican, only 2% independent. So that's the lowest we've ever seen in independent voting. Unemployment rate here is a little bit high, but it's like 4.5%. So that's still excessively low. Median household income is where this place really shines. Average in the country is $58,000. Here it is $24,375 for the household. For everybody. 40% of the people here make under $15,000 a year.
What?
55% of the people, more than half the people here, make under $30,000 a year.
How is that even possible?
Under 30, that's obscene. I don't even know what to say about that.
What the shit?
That is very low. And we'll talk cost of living. It's not that low. A lot of the jobs, there's 3 times as many construction jobs here as normal. Not a lot of manufacturing jobs, not a lot of finance, no like white collar, things like that. It's all low. Healthcare, social services is 27% of the jobs.
Really?
Which is way high. It's double the amount normally.
The fucking most CNAs in the country working there?
I don't know what is happening here.
That income is crazy for healthcare.
It's so low here. Overall, cost of living, 100, regular, average, par. Here it's 81. So that's higher than it should be for that cost of living. Housing, though, is a 44. So that's pretty low. Median home cost, $82,600.
You might be able to afford that on $22,000 a year.
That's pretty low, but there's not a lot of houses available for that because it's a small town. There's not a lot for sale. It's over 40% of the people here rent. So it's that type of place. People are renting a lot. Houses, 20% of the houses are worth less than $20,000 in this place.
1 in 5.
1 in 5 houses. Normally it's 3% in the rest of the country. So it is
crazy.
Most of the houses, we're talking 80% of the houses are worth under $100,000 here. So if we've convinced you, the only place you could possibly enjoy the rest of your life is Walnut, Mississippi. We have for you the Walnut, Mississippi Real Estate Report. So your average 2-bedroom rental here is about half the normal rate. It's about $650. Okay. So I mean that's reasonable.
Still seems steep.
I found a three bedroom 1 bath, 960 square foot. It's kind of a shithole. I got to be honest with you. It's not really that nice. It's kind of a dump. $79,500. for this little slice of heaven. Now, let's say you want to build your own house.
Yeah.
You're a rugged type.
Yeah.
You want to go fell some trees and drag them in here. I found a 26-acre lot here, $25,700. A lot of trees, though. It's the woods.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's a lot of land.
I want to own that.
There's a ton of that available.
Oh my God.
You could buy for $100,000. You could buy 100 acres of. It's like $1,000 an acre, pretty much
amazing.
down there. This is exactly. It's 25.7 acres, $25,700.
You think that land's any good?
No. I found a 4-bedroom, 4-bath, 3,600 square foot, very nice house, big porch that wraps around.
Yeah.
Kind of a southern nice house. $259,000 for this big beautiful house.
Wow.
So it's inexpensive down there. No, that is terrible land, Jimmy. Nobody wants that. It's like I saw the picture of the land. It's a lot of woods.
Yeah. You got to do a lot of cutting.
You're going to be it's going to cost you.
You're going to be working a while.
Yeah, it's going to if you just want space, to add to your land, or if you're going to stick a trailer in a clearing or something, it's fine. But if you actually want to have a house in a yard, it's going to be expensive because you're going to have to clear forest to do it. So
I kind of want to do it.
It's not bad.
So
it's a lot of land. $1,000 an acre.
One day, if I get rich as shit, man, I might want to do that.
You could buy land up in northern Arizona for that
not
price.
Not for $1,000 an acre.
No,
up there. Oh my God, that shit is so coveted.
But that's pretty though.
That's what I mean. It's amazing.
It's so things to do here. Yeah. I found this is the thing to do here. It's because it's the only thing to do in the whole town. Walnut Days celebration. It's either this or go to the video store.
Yeah, okay.
Which is, I guess, a museum now.
They went a little vague on the
Walnut
title.
Days celebration.
Yeah.
It's known for its fantastic fireworks display. Actually, on the site, it says Walnut Celebration is known for its fantastic firework display.
No.
It is.
They're fucking typo.
I took a screenshot of it so I could show it to you. So I could prove what I'm saying. Am I lying?
No.
If
it's known for it, how about we call it the fucking Walnut? Walmart? What is it?
Walnut. Well, there's more than just the fireworks, Jimmy, but it's known for that. That's the big finale. That's on Sunday, July 7th, because you have the finale 3 days after the 4th of July, because that's thanking.
Yeah.
There are activities for the whole family to enjoy. Inflatables for all ages. Okay, that's what disturbed me. Inflatables for all ages.
Yeah.
There's only
some ages that like
about
it.
what 0 to 12 that those are for. Otherwise, it's for people to fuck. That's what they're doing. They're saying we have inflatables and you can poke a hole.
Bring your baby oil.
Yeah, bring your baby oil, and you know what? Bring some wipes too, because you got to clean up after yourself. Well, we can't have people cleaning up after the last guy. That's not going to work.
Baby oil and wet ones. Come on by.
Yeah, and music and entertainment. And Jimmy, I'll show you the script. Win this.
What's that?
In giant red win this, and it's just a picture of a golf cart looking thing.
It's not even a great golf cart.
No, it's just I don't know, 100% refurbished and fully customized. It's a used golf cart. Win a used golf cart. One raffle ticket for $20 or 6 for $100.
No.
You can buy them at the Shell in Walnut, Walnut Hardware in Walnut, or Citizens Bank in Walnut. Any of these places. Now I have the schedule here. There's an antique tractor and farm equipment show.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Cubmobile Derby.
The fuck is that?
I don't know what a Cubmobile Derby. There's a dunk tank.
Yeah. Who's in it?
Wood Matters, carving by the Chain Slinger.
Oh, the guy with the chainsaw?
I think so.
That's fucking horrifying.
That sounds scary as shit.
Yeah.
Someone's losing an arm there, I'm sure. Inflatables for all ages, $10 to go see that, apparently. How much inflatable goodness could there be for that kind of money? Live music by Ron Eckberg Band.
Spell the last name.
Eckberg.
Wow.
Eckberg. Ron Eckberg Band.
Yeah.
I don't know who
Never heard of him.
Shit that is.
He's local as fuck.
I would say so. The summer baseball team will be serving food. I don't know what the hell happens with that. And don't miss the Rotary Pancake Sausage Breakfast as well, because that's a big one.
Yeah.
So, and then finally, fireworks. There's that.
What does a Rotary Club do?
I don't know.
You hear of it everywhere.
Bitch about these damn push-button phones. Sit around and
they're all elderly.
Just complain about these goddamn push-button friggin' phones. I don't know what the hell to do with these friggin' things.
And then the Shriners do the same shit. It's the Rotors versus, is it Rotors or Rotaries?
The Rotaries. And then you throw the Kiwanis in there, and holy Jesus, the whole thing goes down.
It's all confused.
You get a Shriner in there with their hats. We got ourselves a rumble. like the
outsiders. I don't understand what any of you fuckers do.
So the band's here. King Jeremy will be there Friday, July 5th.
Oh.
I don't know who that is.
But he's a king.
Saturday, July 6th, 8:30 to 12:30. Patrick N. Swayze is the band.
Swayze.
Patrick N. Swayze. That's the band. It's spelled exactly like that. And finally, Ron Eckberg there on Sunday. Crime rate.
Ron could go. He could fucking throw a cool name like Ron Eckberg and the Chain Slingers.
And the Chain Slingers. Get him on there, slinging his while he's playing his music. In the background, wood chips are flying. Sawdust everywhere. Noises. Jesus Christ. Crime rate. Well, we're interested in this town, in any town.
Yeah.
Property crime is it's high. It's about 60% over the average.
Yeah.
It's a high crime rate in terms of property. Violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault. The Mount Rushmore of crime is slightly high. It's about 10 to 15% high, but not as high as the property crime.
Okay.
So they're more likely to steal your shit than murder you for your shit.
You're right.
And speaking of murder,
but it will happen.
It will happen, like it did on this one case. Let's talk about a murder.
All right.
Shall we? Let's go to this.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked, God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well.
Right.
And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Let's do it. Let's go back. We got to go back in time again here. Go back, spinning. Clocks are turning. We're turning upside down. That's my always time thing for me. It is. We're whoa,
the smoke and clouds.
Hey, whoa. We're doing one of those, like a Bill and Ted style time.
In a phone booth?
Time warp. No, I think we're free going.
We're just spinning around.
We're spinning. You can see that it's like purple in there. There's a vortex of some kind. You can see. You know what we're talking about. You see it. We're in there. We're going all the way back to 1993.
No.
So think about this. 93. Wu-Tang is coming out right now.
Got a lot of memories of it.
It's, what movies are out in 1993?
Bill and Ted.
That was years before that. This is like.
Was it?
Yeah. This is like that shit.
Was Space Jam coming out in 93?
Space Jam was around this time. There was a bunch of boring shit out too. English Patient and all that crap was out around this time.
This was the early 90s era of like boring fucking movies.
And this was right before the big indie explosion in like 94. 94, 95. Like,
Yeah.
it just kind of started now. There was a few things that were coming out, but then, like, Clerks came out in 94, and a bunch of shit came out in 94, 95.
And then Adam Sandler started making his horse
Jesus
shit.
Christ, yeah. Billy Madison. Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore, and then the rest of the crap. So we're going all the way back to June 29th, 1993.
Okay.
Where were you, Jimmy, June 29th, 1993?
In Phoenix.
In Phoenix.
Sweating my balls off. It's June.
It's June.
It's miserable.
So you were probably hating your life at this age.
12 years old, figuring out why I've got all this hair on my dick.
What happened?
Yeah.
The Suns just lost.
Yeah. It was
literally like 2 weeks ago. The Suns just lost in the finals. Jimmy's a sad little guy right now. Sad little Jimmy walking around Phoenix.
In a dirt backyard where we didn't have a basketball hoop. We had a milk crate that we took the bottom out of and fucking nailed nails to the roof.
Like in the drug-free zone on the wire. That's what it was.
Is that a thing?
They had one.
I was just looking at like a Cambodian village where.
Yeah, this was, the wire, the free zone and the wire and a Cambodian, and like, where the Khmer Rouge are ruling the day are pretty much on equal ground.
Very similar.
Those very similar places. It really was.
Shamrock Farms plastic crate with a metal bottom, so the metal you could rip it out.
Oh, good.
And then the plastic frame held still, so you could hammer that to the eave of your house.
Oh, yeah.
And then, at 12.
Well, the fact that nobody minded that you would hammer a crate to your house tells you a lot about the state of the house and the state of what's going on right there. You know what I mean? That tells you a lot right there. Because if your kids said to you, I'm going to hammer this milk crate to your fucking fascia board, you'd say, are you out of your goddamn mind?
Let's go to Dick's. We'll get a little basketball hoop and you can hang it over your door frame.
No. Yeah, you're not nailing things to my home.
Mind?
Are you crazy? That's what you would say to your kid. No, that is not happening.
Best of luck, motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's stucco.
Back then, they were like, well, at least he's not bothering us. So, okay. Anyway, so yeah, we're June 29th, 1993. It's a Friday, about 12:30 p.m., so noon in Mississippi here. There's a young lady named Christy Ray, and she's 20 years old, and she's a college student. She also works at a bank, to make ends meet at night, and she goes to community college and works at a bank. Her mom works at a bank as well, and she works there at the same time, part-time. It's at the Sunburst Bank. That must be, quote, the bank.
Or the competitor of the Citizens Bank where you buy your tickets.
That's true. God, or maybe this bank, I bet Citizens took them over.
Oh, hostile takeover.
Hostile takeover. Oh, it's coming, guys. Watch out, Sunburst. Going down.
Coming for you.
We're coming for you. So she was a student there. She works part-time. So she's a student at Northeast Mississippi Community College, works part-time at the Sunburst Bank where her mom works.
Yeah.
Nice girl, typical thing. Yeah.
Figuring life out.
She's working. Yeah, she's working. She's going to school. She's doing her thing. So at about 5:15, the bank closes at 5:15. People are ready to leave, the employees. Her and her mother, Mary, they leave the bank, and they're supposed to get back together. Christy has to do some shit. She's 20. She's supposed to go see her boyfriend or things like that. And she's supposed to, leave her mom, and then they have plans later on to meet back at their house, because Christy lives with her mom in Chalybeat, I guess I don't know how you say that. Chalybeat. I don't know. It's right. It's like this little town that's like an unincorporated place. It's basically on top of Walnut. So it counts as Walnut anyway, statistically here. Chalybete.
Yeah.
Chalybeat?
Chalabeta.
We don't know down south how they're going to pronounce this, too. We never have any idea, so I'm not even going to try. I know we said it wrong.
Don't tweet it!
Don't tell us, because we are guarantee you never going to
talk
go
about
there.
This place again.
Never.
No.
I'll never think about it, and I'll never go there. Never going to happen. So, you know what? You can buy tickets to our show in Nashville on April 7th. Drive to 3 hours from here and tell us there. Then that's fine. You can do that. We'll listen at that point.
Come on over to Charlotte. Then you've earned it.
Come to Charlotte. Then you've earned it, damn it. Mary, the mother here, she tries to call her daughter Christy at about 6:45 p.m.
Yeah.
So about an hour and a half goes by. Not breaking her balls too much, giving her some time. But Christy doesn't answer the phone. So, Mary, this is not weird for Mary. She's 20 years old.
Yeah.
She could be here. She could be there.
Right.
93.
Oh,
no
Jesus.
cell phones.
Yeah.
You're calling houses and locations she might be.
Who
knows?
There. She's running around.
She could be at the store.
She's got a car?
She could be, she's got a car. She's got a boyfriend as well.
Yeah.
And she knows that. So Mary figures Christy's probably visiting her boyfriend because, she's going to go see him for a little while.
Then mom gets a shutter and hangs up the phone.
That's what I mean. She gets a shutter. She peeks in the windows and she goes, look at that. So Mary finally gets to her own house at about 7 p.m. She goes back. She gets home there, and Christy's not home. So she called and she wasn't there. She's not, she doesn't think she's at her boyfriend's, and she's not home. So that's, that's whatever. But she's not alarmed because she's 20 years old, and 20-year-old people, things come up. They might run into a friend.
Right.
They might.
And a girl, forget it.
Who knows?
A 2-hour conversation.
That's the thing. She might have to go grab something or, go to the store quick. I don't know. There's not a lot of options here. She might have went to the video store, to pick up The English Patient or whatever the fuck came out in 1993. I think that
hung up in the new releases.
That's he got all hung up in there. They're just looking at those 80s horror movies. You know how it goes. You just get lost in there.
80s horror is so good.
It's so cheesy and wonderful.
It's so good.
I just want to see people's heads explode.
Yeah.
Like, that's hilarious. So anyway, Mary walks into her house.
Yeah.
Daughter not there. She just walks in casually. Okay, where's Christy? But no big deal. Until she finds a note on the table that is not that wasn't there before. Yeah. So she first sees a note. She goes, oh, maybe it's from Christy.
Yeah.
Left me a note. That would make a lot of sense. She stopped by, left the note, took off.
Video store holding her hostage for those late fees, huh?
Yeah, that's what it is. You're like, listen.
Come on back down.
We will not tolerate.
we have your children. Bring us the videos.
Bring us the Robert De Niro version of Cape Fear that you have, because we know that's what you rented in 1990.
Bring it back.
Bring it to us. No, this note contains a crude map, and it reads, quote, there will be a red flag somewhere on this block Tuesday, 12 midnight, $15,000 in gym bag or she dies. No police. That's what the note says.
It is a ransom.
So it's a ransom note. Yeah. A red flag. So he's going to stick a red flag somewhere on the street, and that's the place to put $15,000 in a gym bag, or she dies. No police. So that's what it says. So Mary starts looking around for signs of anything of what might have happened here. She sees that Christy's purse is here, and Christy's not here, which anytime there's a woman missing, that's always the first thing they say is her purse is here. Well, yeah, they know that she's got her shit in there. She's not going to leave without it to go anywhere. So if someone leaves their purse, they were probably forced away or had to flee, either one. It's probably not a voluntary.
It was a hasty departure.
A hasty departure is a good way to put it. Yeah. So she then goes into Christy's room, and her room is all in disarray, which is not like Christy as well. She says she's very organized. Her room is not messy. She goes in there, room's in disarray, and the phone is dead as well. So dead phone, room in disarray, ransom note, clearly she ran away from home, obviously. No. So this is a problem, obviously. We're looking at this as she's getting worried, is an understatement. So Mary leaves the house, and she drives to Walnut. She stops at Christy's boyfriend's house first. I don't know why at this point she's driving anywhere.
Hasn't she called the police?
Immediately, police call. I found a ransom note.
Yeah.
Disarray, dead phone, kid's purse here.
They did say no police.
They did. Well, that's the thing. So I think maybe she's trying to gather what's going on. I don't know. I think I'm calling the police immediately here. So she leaves the house. She drives to Walnut. She stops at her boyfriend, Christy's boyfriend's house, Brian Mathis. So that's his name. Christy is not there. So where does she go next? The video rental store. I swear to God.
Attempt to return it?
She went to the video store. Christy apparently worked part-time there on the weekends sometimes as well. So she said, hey, maybe Christy stopped by there to dick around, talk to the coworkers, and pick out a couple movies or whatever. You don't understand. If you're too young to remember, the video store, you could spend 2 hours there. God. You could it was just wandering.
Yeah.
You know how now you just look through Netflix and Hulu for hours? Imagine these were all physical boxes that you could then pick up and look at the back of and read. It takes forever.
All the searching you're doing on Netflix is what we did in aisles. And then by the time you pick out your movies, now you're walking through
have to wait online.
like a mousetrap maze
more movies.
Of not just more movies, but pre-owned that you, or previewed
you can buy. Yeah, for $5.99.
Yeah, all the
it's
impulse buys.
It's a lot for the mind.
Chocolate covered.
I was going to say, big
cookie
popcorn
dough.
and
Jesus.
goddamn raisinets and shit up there. It's a goobers. It's a nightmare.
Spend more money on snackables than you got in movies.
It's a nightmare. Yeah, that's the thing there. So this is a mess, though. So she's looking around. She doesn't find her. So from there, Mary finally picks up the phone and calls her husband. Not the police.
What is she doing?
I don't know what she's doing.
Wasting valuable time?
I would say she calls her husband Tommy, and then she calls 911. Because I'm sure Tommy said, "What the fuck are you calling me for?
Why me?
Is my name Officer Tommy? No, right? I'm your husband. I think you know I'm not a member of the police department. Maybe call them because it sounds like our daughter's fucking missing and probably kidnapped. So I would say maybe get them on the horn." Can you imagine? Okay.
Tommy, I'm trying to call the cops. Are you one now that I didn't know about?
In all the things you've described to me, you skipped the part where you called the police before you called me. Oh, you did? Okay, so you're why?
So we're hanging up right now.
Why? Yeah. So, I mean, we don't know. I don't know what this feels like. So, I mean, and the thing is, she's 20.
Yeah.
That, I think, is the main difference. I think if she's 12... I don't know. Police
man.
Immediately.
Woman, I'm calling.
Yeah, no.
A woman's missing. Yeah. I'm calling the police.
But 20, I think.
I don't care.
I don't know if she's trying to not be over whatever, but a ransom note. Why would there be a ransom note
0
and a
to
purse?
90. I'm calling the police.
Well, a ransom note, a purse, a room in disarray, a dead phone, all these things equal. I don't care if it's a 38-year-old man who's a jiu-jitsu world champion. I'm still probably calling the police. It sounds like there's some problems. So it's not a matter of weakness or whatever. Whoever it is.
The general target happens to be women, so I'm fucking calling right away.
I'm just saying, I walk into that scene that I've just described. Whoever the subject is, I'm just as worried. There's a problem.
Maybe she lives her life like you, because if I can't find you, I'm like, motherfucker wants some time.
Yeah, I'm probably, yeah. But
probably just want some peace and quiet.
If you came over and there was a ransom note, you might think differently, right?
James is trying to.
This is elaborate.
James is really wanting some time alone.
He must really need some sleep or something.
He knows there's no fucking way.
Jesus, this is elaborate.
$15,000 on it. He's trying to disappear.
He knows I don't have $15,000. He's not. This isn't for me. This isn't for me. I'll leave it alone and walk away.
I'm going to have to sell everything I own to get this motherfucker back.
Maybe someone with $15,000 will come along and spring him. I'm going to leave it right here. I don't want to disturb anything.
He knows I don't have $15,000. This ain't for me.
It's probably not for me. That's what I'm going to say. It's probably for somebody else. I'm going to leave it here.
I'll let him have his peace. He'll call me when he gets back.
It's all right. He'll be fine. I'm sure he'll be fine. Someone will get him out.
But that's what it is. If you were disappeared and I couldn't get a hold of you, I'd probably give it a few hours.
That's because it's me, though. You know me. You know me, too. I'm a little more...
Maybe I text Sarah, James okay? James asleep? Did we get him some sleep
alive,
finally?
Right?
Is he in a well check by a chance?
He's breathing, right? So this is a little different, though. Yeah, so this is her daughter, obviously, which makes it more worrisome. I have an 18-year-old daughter. If I can't find her and there's a ransom note, I'm calling the goddamn cops pretty quick, pretty goddamn fast. So they call the Tippah County Sheriff's Department, and they do preliminary kind of ask around. They hear about the ransom note. Once they hear about that, it's kind of out of their jurisdiction. Once there's ransom notes involved,
is that all federal?
They contact the FBI because I don't know if they're not even set up. I don't know how they would investigate this, too. That's the other thing. Some of these, and especially in 1993, it's been a little bit better now. Since 9/11, a lot, like every police department got a big, like a different kind of budget thing, different things for testing. There's more to it, but in these smaller counties, the investigation resources are really not there. The people, a lot of times, don't have the training to do this. And in this type of thing, the lack of training could mean the difference between finding someone alive and finding someone dead.
Isn't it crazy
kind of a big deal.
How short of a time it's been that these guys actually communicate with each other?
That's
fucking crazy.
Oh, yeah, they don't communicate. And they still don't all the time.
Right, and it's part of hubris and ego of wanting to be the one responsible.
It's all ego,
How about you just find the justice and give it to us, you fucks?
That's not what we're here for.
You bunch of jerks.
Because everybody's got an ego, and they want to be the one to do the thing and find the guy and be the hero, and it's I mean, it's human nature.
Is it people that become cops haven't been humbled enough through life? What the fuck is that?
You know what? That's the other thing too that I found. Like, I've known cops and a lot of things like that. It's such a varying, different.
Yeah.
You can't put a personality on a large group of people. Like,
I know cops that are dicks. I know cops that are amazing people.
What I mean. I know cops that are like, oh, fuck these people that are, like, fuck the people, like the cops who are, overly law and order. Like, get the fuck out of here, relax. And I know cops that are very by the book and straight and crew cut and the whole deal.
Yeah.
There's no set personality. The personality is someone who would like a steady paycheck and health insurance. That's the personality.
Yeah, well,
that's literally what it is.
Yeah.
Like on The Wire. There you go. The chick who season 2, the cop who worked at the docks, who they end up taking in on their detail here, they said, what made you become police? And she said they were starting at $36,000 a year plus benefits. I have 2 kids, so that's literally what it was.
Good call.
That's it. So that's what it was. That's what a lot of people, some people start there. Some people really want to do that. Yeah. Some people like adventure. Yeah. So there's a million different reasons for doing that. So you never know.
Some people just want to shoot somebody.
Some people, Some people are, I've known that type of guy.
Sure.
And then there's the type of person who just wants some authority. And those are usually the type that they try to weed out of these departments. Yeah. Like, that's why they have psychological testing. The
weird ass questions.
The weird,
like when you defecate, do you get an erection? They actually ask you that when you want to be a police officer.
I think we should know that.
We
about
probably
you.
should.
We should know if you shitting makes you hard. I feel like maybe we should look further into you a little bit. You know what I mean?
Depending on your answer to this next question.
It doesn't disqualify you, but it's gonna open you up to a few follow-ups, I feel like. Then what happens?
You want to be around cops a lot. Depending on the answer to this next question, we're going to find out which side.
Yeah, let's figure out where you're going to end up.
You're going to be around cops a lot.
Either way. A lot of guys in uniform and men and women in uniform, but we'll find out exactly which ones. So Mary returns home at this point. She comes home, and now she starts looking at looking around the house. Yeah. She probably should wait for the FBI to get there, but
don't touch anything.
She starts looking around the house for clues so she could, when the FBI gets there, she can say, I found this, I found this, I found this. She wants her daughter, so it's hard to just sit there and go, okay, I guess I'll just wait. You're going to want to find stuff out, and you need information.
You found the key part, which is a goddamn ransom note.
She also finds the forced entry. She finds signs of forced entry. She finds a screen over the window in Christie's room has been cut out, and that pallets have been stacked up, leaning against the house outside the window.
There's a little makeshift ladder.
Ladder there to climb in. So she also later on, Mary finds out, when she's been through the house a little more, finds out that someone has been through one of the drawers in her and her husband's bedroom as well. That's been rifled as well. So signs of a break-in, and it looks like a break-in, looking for shit, and end up dragging Christie away is the way it looks. Or who knows at this point. So this same day, same exact day, that while this is all going on simultaneously, these other people here know nothing about what's happening with Mary and Christie and all this shit. Okay. This is a totally separate place now.
What's this place?
In Walnut. Still in Walnut.
An entirely different house.
A different house in Walnut here. In a different house in Walnut, there's a guy named Charles Ray Crawford.
Yeah.
At this point, he is about 27 years old. Okay. He's had some problems, as we'll talk about, in his past. Mental problems, criminal problems, some issues.
I can relate.
Yeah, no, you can't actually. No, you're. No, not your kind of guy. Let's put it that way. You don't want to say my kind of guy on this guy quite yet, because you can't relate to the shit he's done. You've had mental problems like, I'm a little depressed.
Yeah.
He's had mental problems like, well, let's find out exactly what his problems make him do. Not the same thing they make you do. Be a little sad and eat too much. This is
and drink
a little much. This is and drink wine in the tub. This is different. Jimmy turns into a 51-year-old woman when he's sad. He's just like, I'm going to drink wine in the tub.
Have a good cry.
Have a good cry. I'm going to light some candles.
It's better than the alternative, man.
I got some lavender candles, and you know what? It's just, this day has just been too much.
Me and a bath fizzy and a nice bottle of red.
My Kindle. I'm going to catch up on my...
Got my Amazon speaker. I'm going to let somebody tell me a story.
Tell me a story, Chelsea.
And a good cry. Tell me about how disappointed you are in your tits, Chelsea.
Turns into a 51-year-old lady who's a little sad. So this is Charles Ray Crawford, this guy. He lives with his family. Now, his family discovers in their attic a ransom note. Okay. This is a similar ransom note to the one found by Mary Ray.
And he has no idea about that.
Well, these people who found it don't know about that's happening there. They just find a ransom note in their attic and think it is, it's odd. Yeah. Now, Crawford, the thing about Crawford, this is on a Friday. The next Monday, 3 days later, he is scheduled to start trial, not as an attorney, as a defendant, for assault and rape. Okay, so he is on trial. He's out on bail now, and he's about to begin a trial for assault and rape after this weekend. So Crawford's mother and his wife, he's a married man, by the way, his mother, his wife, and his grandfather all report this note to Crawford's attorney. Just say, I don't know what's going on, but we found a ransom note in the attic. He is obviously up on these charges and has got trial for Monday. He's probably not in a real rational state, and we're afraid this ransom note might have, who knows what kind of ramifications. Is he going to give this to someone? Is he going to go kidnap someone? They're worried he's going to do worse shit, and they don't want him to do worse shit. So rather than just sit on it and pretend it didn't happen, they actually contact his attorney and everything like that. So his attorney contacts law enforcement officials and says, hey, heads up, my guy who, a little bit of a tearaway, as you might want to call him.
He's not convicted yet.
He's a cut up.
We got a couple of weeks that we had to deal with.
He's got some issues. Yeah. We both know that he's got some issues. We'll put it that way.
He's certainly suspected of having worse issues.
Yeah, you might want to know about this. Yeah. And they go, very interesting once they get the note, because they go, this is the same type of note that we found at Christy Ray's house. We told you, it's the same thing.
Same thing?
It's the same note. Yeah, just with different wording.
Different girl? Different name?
The same note. Maybe a practice note. He might have did this and said, I don't like the way that's worded, and did it a different
I'm going to hang on to
draft.
this one for a while.
First draft. He just leaves it in the attic. He's a fucking writer,
Got
Jimmy.
notes written in the fucking...
The thing is he's a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And he's a writer. That's the other thing. You know how it is with writers. It's a perfection thing. First draft, I don't like this. Second draft, it's the syntax. I'm not quite sure. This should be here. You know what? I'm burying the lead. I'm burying the lead. I want money. That should be it. You know what, though? A map. I think that might be helpful. It. That tells me that's what I'm most concerned about is this money.
Green flag. It's a bad color.
It's green. It's going to blend into the grass.
Right.
They're not going to be able to see it.
Red pops.
That's going to pop on green grass. Okay, red. All right, we got this. Just cross out green. Okay, second draft.
Notes in the median.
That's how it works. Notes in the margin. There you go.
That's the word.
So...
Whatever it is.
So the next day, this attorney, his law clerk, a guy named Sean Akins, he meets with law enforcement officials and turns over some medical records of Charles Crawford's here. Chuck is what everybody calls him. Chuck Crawford. These officials here were basically... This is a weird thing because he has, without his consent, his attorneys have turned over medical records to the police who are investigating a crime. That is not.
That seems terrible.
You're not supposed to do that. He has to consent unless it's a court order. He has consent over whether his medical records are going to be released to anybody, especially
law enforcement.
That's what I mean. That's the last one. In the Constitution, you're supposed to be protected from, especially having your medical records seized by law enforcement against your will and without a court order. It's like a huge one in there.
Kind of the point.
It's big. It's big. Yeah. So it's a big deal. Medical records are your private files to the max.
Fuck yeah.
They're the most private thing there is. So the officials said they were trying to determine, this is their official word here, their line, they were trying to determine whether Crawford was capable of kidnapping Christy. So they needed his medical records to see if he was capable of it, which makes no sense. Yeah, it's not.
You know about your liver enzymes?
Well, medical includes mental health records as well. This is not just. This isn't just physical. Is he capable? Yeah. Is he? Yeah. Not is he like a paraplegic?
Right.
He's an advanced MS. I don't think he could do it. He's got Lou Gehrig's disease. He's been bedridden for the last month and a half. I doubt that's why they're doing it. So the police, the local and federal authorities establish a command post to find Christy. Yeah. So this is an all points bulletin red flag, full siren,
girl missing,
bring everybody in, command post situation at the Chalybete School, I guess.
I'm going to say the word again.
I'm going to say it again. I guess there's only one K through 12. Okay. This is the next day, the Saturday. The next day. They also, authorities, they stationed law enforcement officers at the residence of Crawford's former father-in-law as well for some reason. They think maybe he'll go there. So, because they can't find him either. So they're like, maybe he'll go there. They have officers at Christie's house. They have officers at his house. This is all they have going on is to find Christie. So all hands on deck here, which is good. They officers report seeing Crawford approach the residence at one point of his ex-father-in-law, and the officers proceeded to the place where he was seen after that. And when they do, deputies and a bunch of FBI agents wait for him, and he ends up coming back there again on Saturday. And as he comes up, he's carrying a double-barrel shotgun and a switchblade.
Why?
That's a good question. They'd sure like to know. And to find out, they go, pray tell, sir, why do you have a double-barrel shotgun and a switchblade? That seems like overkill, to say the least. So they say, you know what, let's take him in and find out. He's going to trial Monday anyway.
Probably shouldn't have that.
I was going to say, if he's on bail for assault and rape, he's probably not allowed to have switchblades and shotguns just wandering the streets. So let's probably just take him in and then find some shit out. And definitely not allowed to have ransom notes.
No,
that's a fact. You can't have those usually. It's really incriminating.
Super incriminating.
It's bad. So they bring him in. Now, who the fuck is Charles Ray Crawford? Who is this lunatic? We'll give you a little background, because at this point he just seems like, from the very scant details that we've given you, he's just this crazy
he's a lunatic
town maniac, basically. But he has a history of mental issues. From as early as 6 years old, he experienced hallucinations, blackout spells, periods of, losing his time, shit like that, like Fight Club style, like losing his mind, and uncontrollable fears where he'd have like these terror, he'd go like in a corner and he couldn't control
night terrors, but they're just terrors.
Just terrors, basically. This is from the age of 6.
My God.
This starts happening. So he's got mental issues, obviously. We don't know if he's had head injuries or anything like that, too. We don't know if he fell out of a swing or something.
Or somebody just hits him around a
That's
lot.
the other thing. If somebody beats the shit out of him, who knows? He would experience visual hallucinations at that point, too, which was a big deal, and blackout spells that would last anywhere from a few minutes to a half hour.
Wow.
Which is freaky shit as a kid, I would think.
As a parent.
That's what I meant. As your kid in front of you, like
30 minutes of this
what do you
fucker
do
not
with this?
moving?
Yeah. And this is, wow, how would you even deal with that as a parent?
Something tells me
his
parents were like, he's sleeping again.
I don't know if they were just, I don't know. He nailed a milk crate up to the fascia board, and then he went and fell asleep. I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Must have been damn tired.
Must have been tired. He had to climb up some pallets to get there. Nailed it to the fascia board.
Blackout spells.
That seems like a lot.
My word.
That seems like a lot of blackout.
Yeah.
A lot of blackout here. He's first treated by a psychiatrist at age 10 when he was prescribed phenobarbital as a medication.
What is that?
It's a
like Ritalin?
No, it's they used to use it for psychiatric issues.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of exactly what it is, but I don't know how to put it.
Antipsychotic?
I'm not positive, and I don't want to mischaracterize it and then have 10 people fucking tweet it out. That's what it is. But they gave it to him.
Fentanyl?
Phenobarbital.
There it is.
Yeah, it's from what I understand, it was pretty commonly prescribed back in the 70s.
Okay.
Back then here. He was 10, and he was also, when he was 10, he was hospitalized in the East Mississippi State Hospital for psychiatric issues at 10. And then in 1989, and then again in 1989, he was hospitalized for issues. And then in 1991, he was hospitalized at a psychiatric facility in Memphis as well. So this is a pretty strong history of psychiatric troubles here. In 1989, he attempted suicide. That's how he ended up in the East Mississippi State Hospital. Yeah. He underwent 6 weeks of testing, and the discharge diagnosis were bipolar disorder, manic type or manic phase, and substance abuse by history. So he was prescribed an antidepressant, Deserel. Yeah. I don't know if this is before. Yeah. This is 89, so this is before
we really got into
before Prozac came out in the mid 90s and all that shit. So I don't know what that is. And lithium carbonate, which is a mood stabilizer. Yeah. So he's getting lithium and some old school antidepressant. So basically, he's going to be a limp dick zombie at this point, drooling from the mouth at all times. Because that's not that that's bad, but I mean those are pretty heavy medications from probably back then. I assume
they went hard on him. They did everything other than a lobotomy at this point.
That's what I mean. I assume like that antidepressant was probably not as good as a modern antidepressant. Had more side effects.
And when you say
that's what
good,
I'm getting at.
Just less side effects. And more active ingredients that makes them work better.
That's that too. So 2 years later, though, that's when he was in the Memphis Mental Health Institute for 2 weeks, where he was again diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So seems like he's bipolar. I would say.
Yeah,
two different
consensus view.
2 hospital stints, 2 different hospital teams have both concluded that's what he has. Probably what he's got. They've looked at him for weeks at a time in a controlled laboratory environment, in a clinical environment. I feel like they know.
2 out of 2 clinical doctors agree.
Yeah, teams, Jimmy, whole teams. It's a unit. It's not just one guy or one lady. It's a whole team. So April 13th, 1991. This is where we go up to. He's been in the mental hospital earlier that year, and in Memphis. And April 13th, there's a young lady named Nicole Cutbirth. She's a 16-year-old high school student around there in Walnut, Mississippi. She is riding around with a 17-year-old friend of hers named, they give her a fake name in the court documents here. They call her Sue. They said they're riding around in Walnut, Mississippi. Sue and Nicole. Okay?
On bikes or in a car?
In a car.
Okay.
And riding around in a car.
Got it.
Nicole is 16 years old. Sue is 17 years old. Sue is Crawford's ex-sister-in-law. Oh. So she's Chuck's ex-sister-in-law, little sister of his ex-wife. Crawford was married to her older sister, Janet Roberts. Janet and Crawford divorced, and he remarried another woman, like the 93 that he's married to still. And then they had a son together, and then they also divorced. And then in April of 1991, right this time that this is going on, Crawford had began seeing Janet again. So basically, this is to Sue, this is her ex-brother-in-law and her sister's current boyfriend.
It's a lot.
Probably future brother-in-law. He's been around for a few years. Yeah. She's 17. Since she was a little kid, this guy's been around in her sister's life. So this is not someone that she would like be afraid of or anything like that, Sue.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, it's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure, yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com. Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. Yeah. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
So the girls, they were in Nicole's grandfather's car. So it's Nicole Cuthbert's grandfather's car. They were told to put fluid in the car. They said, if you're going to take it out, you have to put, I don't know if it needed oil or needed some kind of something. So they went and they bought what they needed to do. And while they were there in the Twin Oaks parking lot, they saw Chuck Crawford there. And they went over to ask if he would help them put fluid in the car because that's, they know him. And he might know more about cars than they do, being 16-year-old girls.
Where's this go?
They weren't real interested in it. Yeah. So Crawford had his young son with him at the time. This man has children. Yes, he does. That is disturbing. Crawford agreed, and he told the girls to drive over to the ballpark. There was a ballpark near there by a park, and they did. And Crawford met them there, and he put the fluid in the car. And while it was pouring in, you put the thing up and whatever. Crawford, he tells Sue that he needed to talk to her about something, but he didn't want to say what it was right there in front of Nicole, presumably.
Sure.
Or his kid or whatever. He just said, I don't want to say what it is right now, but I need to talk to you about something. So Sue just assumes this is something about her sister or something, whatever. Who knows? Maybe, just maybe, he feels bad about things have always gone down with Janet.
Yeah.
And he's trying to set up the ultimate romantic weekend.
He's got some questions to ask.
He needs her help.
Yeah.
He's like, listen, you're going to be the one to spread the rose petals now.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do it.
You should get in before we get there.
I bought 40 dozen.
Right.
So you're going to have, I want it.
Shitload.
Carpet that sumbitch. Carpet it. Fill the bathtub halfway with rose petals. I want her to bathe in rose petals. And then I need you to light 500-600 candles. I don't know. It's going to look like a Stevie Nicks video. Put it that way. It's just going to be candles everywhere and everywhere.
I want American Beauty mixed with Stevie Nicks.
That's what I want. I want this 1979 American Beauty style. That's what I'm looking for. Just rose petals everywhere.
Real gritty love fest.
It's going to be amazing. My butt crack's going to smell like roses for like 6 weeks because it's just going to be rolling around in them. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So maybe she thinks that's what it is. Who knows? So later that evening, though, so she said, okay, cool, we'll talk later. He finishes putting the fluid in the car, takes his kid, they wave goodbye, everybody goes their separate directions, okay? Later that evening, the girls are still driving around. There's nothing to do in Walnut, by the way, and they're driving around. What else do you do? When I was 16, I drove around a lot, too.
We did the same.
Hours at a time.
This is a big city. I did the same thing.
Yeah, everybody drives around. So they spot Crawford again. They spot Chuck. They flash their lights and tell him, hey, pull over as a sign.
We see you.
So we see you. So Sue goes over and asks Crawford what he wanted to talk to her about. So Crawford said they needed to get out of Walnut to talk because his ex-wife, Gail, might find out that he was talking to her and stop him from seeing his son. So he's got a kid with this Gail, and he says, if Gail sees me talking to you, she's going to think I'm banging around with Janet again, and she's going to keep my son away from me. And it's a real white trash soap opera is what's happening here. So they need to get out of Walnut. We can't be seen together. So he said, meet me at the cemetery.
No.
Which is
fucking no.
Pardon?
Are you out of your mind?
How many other places are we could meet at the video store, the tanning salon, we could the bank,
meet at the Citizens Bank.
We could meet anywhere. There's so many places to meet, dude. So many places to anywhere.
Isn't Eckbert playing somewhere tonight?
I think let's go find Patrick N. Swayze, and he'll shield us from your ex-wife.
Let's go get some live music, and we'll have a little chat on the patio of whatever. The fucking cemetery.
The cemetery. Meet me at the cemetery.
We've only had that
girls.
one time in this, and it did not go well.
And I'm trying to think. He's like 24.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I mean, they don't think it's threatening because it's his sister's boyfriend. It's the sister's boyfriend. It's weird.
Yeah.
I'm not meeting anybody after hours in the cemetery.
Ever.
No.
Ever.
So
meet me at the cemetery. Goodbye. You're out of my life.
They go meet him at the cemetery.
Oh, my God.
They find him there. Chuck's parked at the cemetery. They pull their car next to him and roll the window down. His son's not with him anymore. Crawford has dropped off his kid, and he tells Sue to get in the truck so they can talk. So here, hop in. Get on in here. So Sue does, and Crawford told her that Crawford tells Sue that her boyfriend, Sue's boyfriend, has pictures of Sue that are, quote, pretty bad, is what he tells her. Okay. Crawford also tells her that he had gotten the pictures from her boyfriend and planned to get rid of them, but thought that Sue should know about this, that her boyfriend has some pretty bad pictures, I assume, of a sexual nature, I would imagine, that her boyfriend not only took and has, but is now,
disseminating them across
giving away to other folks in town.
Want to see my girlfriend's tits?
Yeah, well, you can keep that. I got copies. Like
this is a Polaroid, sir. How did you copy this?
Yeah, it's a little bit strange. Yeah, it's weird. Oh, we got so many of them. I
take pictures of that Polaroid a lot.
Yeah, just over and over. It's like a videotape. It just gets all real. It's like a ghost at the end. What is that? So an old VHS tape.
Copy of a copy.
Yeah, Jesus, this thing is grainy. So obviously, he says, Crawford says, I'm going to get rid of these pictures. I just kept them to show you. So Sue says, well, give me the fucking pictures. I want these pictures that you have. I'm going to try to collect all of them and
treat them like Pokemon.
Let's start with the ones you got here. So you seem willing to part with them. He says that the pictures were at his house and that she should tell Nicole that they needed to ride to his house. So, you should tell Nicole either she's got to go home or she's going to come with us. But unless she wants to sit in the cemetery parking lot by herself, she's going to be
either come with me to my wax shed or stay here.
Or stay here. Either one.
Yeah, your call.
Your call.
Dealer's choice.
So I got naked pictures of your teenage friends, so you can come back to my wax shed and get them naked teenage pictures. Or you could hang here in the cemetery parking lot at night.
Be right back.
That's really a fucking head scratcher if you're her. You go, I don't know. Is there a drifter I can talk to or sit with for a while? Is there anybody else? Is there like a crackhead I can get with? Or
is there like a cut my leg off in option 3? What are we talking about?
Registered sex offender whose house I can go to for a while to wait it out or anything like that?
Give me door number 3, Monty. Where's the goat?
This is all terrible. Yeah, give me that goat walking around. I like how they used to put like hay and shit in there too. Like it's staying in there for hours and days at a time.
Meanwhile, I love goats so much. If I was ever on that show, I'd be like, pay up, Monty. I won
Give
the
me that
fucking goat.
He's walking out with a thing on a leash.
Fuck, you think that's not a booby prize, by the way. I love it.
It's still pissing. This thing does nothing but piss and shit.
It's going to shoot shit pellets all the way up your aisle
all
as
the
we
way
walk
up
out
the
of
aisle.
here.
Shit pellets everywhere. So,
me and my goat.
Jesus Christ. So he said that he should tell Nicole that they needed to ride to his house. So they get into, Sue and Nicole both get in Crawford's truck rather than follow him there. Yeah. And they drive and he drives them to his house. They drive by the school. As they drive by the school, Crawford asked them to, quote, scrunch down in the truck so no one would see them, for fear of his, baby mama getting angry here. So he then parks nearby, near an abandoned house instead of parking at his house, which is an odd move.
What the fuck is happening?
He doesn't want to be seen at his house. It's all very clandestine.
He's the creepiest fucking man ever. Meet me at the cemetery. Come home to my whacking shed. We're going to park an abandoned house.
So I can give you naked pictures of your own teen body. That's highly illegal in every way, shape, and form.
That I have not described to you how I became to be in possession of them.
Well, your boyfriend gave them to me.
Right.
Because
I took them from him because he does not need to have them.
Giving away whacking material all over town. You should see him. He's just giving it out. So they park. Crawford here. Chuck tells Nicole to stay in the car and told Sue to walk inside. Like, here, you stay in the car. It's a private thing with Sue here. So Sue and Crawford get back, go into the house. They get inside the back door of the house. Crawford stops and tells Sue to stay here so he can make sure nobody's home. This is all very private.
This is your house, motherfucker.
That's right. So Sue sees him walking around the house, and she's like, all right, just waiting. He gets back to her, and, she's like, okay, where are the pictures? And he says, right here. But instead of the pictures, he pulls a gun out and puts it to Sue's head.
Oh, boy.
So things have changed drastically here. Very, very quickly.
Rapid.
It's gone from, wow, this guy's doing me a favor, helping me out. My boyfriend's a real scumbag.
This isn't a favor at all.
No, I am in a fucking house with no one else and this guy with a gun to my head. Crawford says, if you do what I tell you and don't yell, no one will get hurt. So he tells Sue to get on the floor. She does. She asks, why are you doing this? Crawford told her to shut up, which is not the answer you're looking for in that situation. He then taped her mouth shut with duct tape and told her to put her hands behind her back, and he taped her hands together behind her back.
Sucks.
This is not great, obviously, what's happening here. This is not going to be good. So
I've been here.
Pre-warning. Crawford then pulls Sue by her tape, leads her through the kitchen into a bedroom. He takes off her shoes. He loosens the tape. This is goddamn. She loosens the tape on her around her mouth by licking and getting those, making it whatever, so she could speak to him. She told Crawford that he couldn't touch her because she was on her period. She's like, I'm on my period. Get away from me. You can't rape me or whatever. So he tells her that he would, quote, take care of it, which is not what you want to hear again. So yes, he takes her clothes off and he has sex with her, obviously against her will, and everything else.
Oh boy.
Horrible. So afterwards, Sue, being a really nice person apparently, asks Chuck not to hurt Nicole. It's like, leave Nicole alone. So Chuck tells her not to move, and he goes outside. Sue hears some noises and then hears Crawford come back inside the house. Crawford runs into the bedroom and says that somebody's there. He grabs Sue and they run out of the house. As they run out of the house, Crawford said, what have I done? We've got to get out of here. Somebody's here. So when they get back to the truck, Sue doesn't see Nicole, but she did see a hammer. But not Nicole. Not great. It's not he didn't turn her into a hammer. He's not magic. So Sue asks Crawford where Nicole is, and he says that he had hit Nicole and that she ran away.
Oh, Jesus.
That's what he said. So Crawford then looks at Sue and says, what have I done? Janet is going to hate me. which you're well beyond Janet's going to hate you at this point. Everybody's going to hate you. Except the guys in prison. They're going to like you a lot.
They're going to love
They're
you.
going to like you.
Yeah.
Sue then responded by saying, please don't hurt me. So Crawford and Sue walked back toward the house, and he untapes her. She was able to put her clothes back on when they went back in the house. Crawford then handed Sue the gun and told her to shoot him, which is a definite twist that doesn't happen a lot in these cases.
Awesome.
We've never heard this before.
You've got your chance.
Sue told him that she couldn't shoot him.
Why?
I don't, because she's 17 years old.
Yeah, she's Southern Baptist.
And she's a nice girl.
Yeah.
She's don't hurt my friend. She's a nice kid. She's scared shitless. But I wish she would have shot him. So she said, I can't do it. And Crawford said that he needed to see Janet. I need to see your sister. So he asked her to go to Memphis, Tennessee with him to see Janet. She says she would. She says she'll go because she's worried that if she doesn't go, he's going to hurt her when he gets there.
Yeah.
So she thinks, she's so nice, she thinks that I can, in the drive from here to Memphis, in an hour and 15 minutes, I can calm him down enough to where he won't hurt my sister.
Right.
Otherwise, I have no
you
control.
could do it right now.
Yeah, but
fucking shoot him.
He's ready. There you go. Kneecap his ass and then go, I can't kill you, but I can sure fucking hurt you.
I can immobilize you.
You're going to limp for a while. Then again, she's probably not a good shot with a handgun in this situation because
legs are skinny.
And also, anybody would be a little shaky from everything that's happened to this poor girl. Jesus Christ.
I can't imagine.
So Sue and Crawford, they get back in Crawford's truck and began driving on back roads toward Memphis. On the way, they stop at a guy named Barry King's house, and Crawford asked to borrow his car because he said he knew the law would be looking for him because, he hit Nicole with a fucking hammer and she ran away.
Right.
So that'll happen. The cops will want to talk to you when you hit 16-year-old girls in the head with a fucking hammer for no reason. So this guy said, no, you can't borrow my car, but told Crawford to go ask a guy named Jackie Brooks if he could borrow his vehicle. He says, can't borrow mine, but maybe this guy will let you do that. So Crawford and Sue drive over to that guy's house. Crawford asked Jackie to borrow his truck because he said, I'm running from the law. Yeah. So now we got a Duke Boy situation where he's like, I'm running
on my heels.
I got Enos and Roscoe and the whole damn, they're all on my ass here. I need to borrow the General Lee's hot.
Right.
They know what it looks like. So this guy says, no, you're not fucking borrowing my truck. Shit, no. You're going to borrow my truck to run from the law? No.
I'm not getting it back.
Sounds like
shape.
No, it sounds like it's going to be wrapped around a telephone pole when I get it back. No, thank you.
I've seen those videos.
But he says, I will drive you to Memphis, though.
Oh.
So not like I don't want to get involved. Right. I'll get involved.
I'm your friend.
But
you got a friend in me.
You got that right. This is almost way more of an inconvenience. I'd be like, just take my truck. I don't know. It's insured. I'm not driving to Memphis with you.
Out of here.
You and a teenage girl who looks frightened. No, thanks.
I don't know. It feels like an insurance company would find a way to not pay for that.
That's okay. How nice of a truck could it be? Who cares? So he tells Crawford to park his truck behind my house. He says, park your truck behind my house so the law won't see you. So he's all on board for a caper, this guy here. So Brooks and his wife, this guy's wife.
He brought the wife
brings
along?
My wife's got to come, too. They drive Crawford and Sue to Memphis. They drop Crawford and Sue off at a guy named Timmy Joyner's house, and then they went home. Mm-hmm. Now, Joyner, who's a friend of Crawford's, drove Crawford and Sue to a nearby Budget Inn and got them a room. So now
he's got great friends, man.
I don't know what he's done to endear himself to these people. Even the girl he's just fucking brutally raped is trying to help him. This is
everybody in
Walmart.
Walmart. Why do I keep calling it that? Well, I mean,
whatever.
Shoe fitting.
So I don't know.
Everybody here's so nice.
Yeah, if the $8 pair of shoes fits, wear it. I guess I don't know.
If the knockoff Crocs.
Yeah, if the knockoff Crocs
fit.
Croc-offs. There you go. So they're in
Croc-offs fit.
So now they're in a Budget Inn. Yeah. So Joyner leaves the two of them in the room and went back to his house. Crawford asks Sue if she's scared. She says, obviously, dipshit. Yeah, you fucking raped me and now I'm in a hotel room with you. I'm absolutely horrified. He said that she shouldn't be scared. Sue says she'd like to talk to Janet, and Crawford began crying and saying he was sorry. Crawford slept at the foot of the bed, holding Sue's foot so she wouldn't leave. That's how he slept.
Holding their foot?
Yeah, at the foot of the bed, like latched onto her foot so she can't get up and go away. I don't know, like some alarm system, basically.
How light of a sleeper is he? Because I can fall asleep holding anything.
Yeah.
Once I'm out, man, you can run.
Well, I don't know, you know, maybe if you have a teenage...
You're free, darling.
If you have a kidnapped teenage girl, you might be a little more
sensitive to,
a little more on edge, not in a deep, comfortable sleep.
Any movement will wake you?
Yeah. So the next day, his friend picks him up again, him and Sue, and they drive to a few different convenience stores where Crawford tries to use the phone. He finally tells Joyner to, quote, pull over somewhere so he could think. They pull down a little road and stop. Crawford begins saying he's going to kill himself. Joyner calms him down, his friend does, and Crawford tells Joyner to take Sue to call Janet. Why don't you take her to call her sister? She wants to talk to her sister.
If you want to die, get the fuck out of my car. Let's not ruin my interior.
I'm going to take her and you stay here. And, if you die, in the woods is easy to clean up. That's the thing about the woods. It's real easy to clean it. If it rains, it's over.
It's done.
It's all good. So Joyner and Sue leave him there, and where he was, they drive to a payphone. Sue talked to Janet and told her that Crawford raped her. Janet asked to speak to Joyner again. When Joyner gets off the phone with Janet, he says that he did not understand what was going on, but that Janet told him to tell Crawford to turn himself into the police. Janet didn't say he raped my sister. He just said tell him to turn himself into the police. He knows what he fucking did. That's what Janet does.
Sleep.
So Sue, I'm going back. Sue cries as they drive back to where Crawford is, and Joyner tells Crawford that Janet said he should turn himself to the police. Joyner then drives Crawford to a convenience store where Crawford dialed 911 and turned himself into the police.
Wow.
He was just like, okay,
She's right.
She's right. Wow.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Jesus. Through another person. She didn't even have to do it personally.
How strong a woman is she?
Jesus. So Joyner takes Sue to meet Janet, and Sue is taken to a local hospital. They do a rape kit. They do samples, the whole medical thing like that, obviously. The deputies and everybody else, they responded to a call yesterday that someone had been hit in the head. And they get to Crawford's grandparents' house, and they found Nicole lying on a stretcher. She had been knocked out and at his house, and Nicole told the officers that Sue needed help and that she was at Crawford's house. That's how she called the cops and found her. They went to Crawford's house. They knocked and yelled, but no one answered the door. Deputies went inside. No one was inside, but they found a used, Jesus, I don't even want to say this, never mind. So they also find a roll of
what?
They find Sue's
what?
They find Sue's tampon in the bedroom. Yes, I didn't want to say that because
that's all right. I mean, you got to say that part.
It just sounds. I don't know. They've also found. There's enough other stuff. They find a roll of duct tape with hair on it in the kitchen, and a strip of duct tape with hair on it in the house. There's a lot of evidence, is what I meant here.
The point is, Sue was not lying to him. She was being honest with him, telling him that. Right. She was trying to survive.
Yeah, and he was...
Because God knows, Jesus, a guy that's willing to have sex with you and you're willing to have sex with him and you tell him that, sometimes they freak out. Yeah. This guy's already clearly off his rocker. And I want to let him know before he gets in. Because if he sees it, he might murder me on...
That's the thing. He might be angry at me. I think that's... She was doing her best to stay alive and survive, which is horrible here. The back door was open and the deputies saw blood on the stairs. They also saw footprints in the garden and followed them to a nearby abandoned house. Outside the house, they found more duct tape with hair. Relatives give a description of Crawford's truck, and they put an APB out for the truck, which is now hidden behind a house. They locate the truck behind Brooks's residence. The Memphis Police Department, they find him there when he turns himself in. They recover a .22 caliber revolver, and they apprehend him, that he had a gun on him, too. The hair found on the roll of duct tape and various pieces of duct tape found outside Crawford's residence were compared with Sue's hair and Crawford's hair, and some of the hair on the tape matched Sue's hair and some of the tape matched Crawford's hair. So that makes sense. When asked if he raped Sue, he responded, quote, I can't honestly say that I didn't, and I can't sit here and tell you that I did. The only thing that I've got to go by is what she said. I'm not going to lie to you and say I didn't, and I'm not going to turn around and lie and say that I did because I don't know. That's his answer.
That's the worst
did you rape her?
Ever.
Which means, yes, it did. He might as well have just said, yup. Not even yet. Yup.
Sure in the fuck did.
That's basically what he said there. So he's indicted. They go, we'll tell you what, since you don't know, we'll just take her word for it. Since you've said you're not sure,
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and take her word for it and say you did.
Right.
And we're going to indict you for kidnapping and rape. And, so also indicted separately for aggravated assault on Nicole because he hit her 4 times in the back of the head with a framing hammer.
Oh, Jesus.
That's what happened to Nicole.
Not just once.
Oh, no. 4. She was trying to kill her.
That's the toughest girl ever.
Knocked her out. Probably thought he killed her. Walked away. Bang, bang, bang. You hit somebody 4 times in the head with a hammer. They drop. You go, that's that. And you walk away.
Oh, boy.
She was alive. So, so he's indicted for aggravated assault on that. And his whole strategy is that he's incompetent to stand trial. And even if he was competent, he was crazy when the crimes were committed because he blacked out. Now, that happened in 91. They let him out he's out.
What the
awaiting
shit,
trial,
man?
He's out awaiting trial. This is a dangerous man.
Dangerous doesn't describe
doesn't even begin to describe it.
That's a vicious, terrible man.
They let him out, and he's awaiting trial in 1993, back where we were, on that Monday, and then that Friday, Christy Ray disappears.
Wow.
So that's why his family's concerned and turning in a ransom note they find in the attic to his lawyer.
What?
Yeah. In addition to this, in 93, before we caught up with him in the beginning, he suffered a seizure a few months before that and was treated at the hospital, and then suffered a second seizure less than 2 weeks before the trial was set to begin. And he was prescribed Dilantin, which is an anti-epileptic, anti-seizure medication. And at the time, he was taking also lithium with that as well. So, 1993, back to Christy Ray.
Yes.
There.
She's missing.
She's missing. And we scooped that. We rolled that around nicely. So, it's been horrible so far. So, upon him getting arrested here, Crawford, they arrest him, and in the car, they ask Crawford, do you recognize me? Because they're like local cops. And he says, yeah, I do. And, y'all have arrested me plenty.
Yeah.
So, y'all know about me when I was ranting and raving outside the convenience store, when he kept me pissing in the alley all the time. He seems like that guy.
He's definitely the town drunk, the town problem.
That's
I don't know if he's even the town drunk. He's just a town problem.
When they hear someone's a ranting and a raving outside the Piggly Wiggly again, they're like,
Crawford.
God damn Chuck again, that son bitch, Jesus Christ.
Home, Chucky.
I thought they put him on You said they put him all medication. Fucking goddamn it. Lithium don't work for shit.
Goddamn lithium's got him all kinds of crazy.
Oh, boy. So they advise him of his Miranda rights. And Crawford asks something at this point. He basically says, quote, why are you asking me this and what's going on here? Repeatedly. What are you asking me this? What's going on here? Why am I here? Why am I in a cop car? What's happening? He says that he didn't know Christy at all. He didn't know her personally, the missing girl. But he did know her when he saw her from being around town. It's a very small town. Literally everybody knows who everybody is in a town like that. He testified there. He said the cop would say later on, be willing to testify that in the car, Crawford here said that at the time he thought his leg was broken, but he didn't want to go to the hospital.
Crawford's leg?
Crawford's leg. He's like, I think my leg's broken, but don't worry about taking me to the hospital. So they're like,
let's go where we're going.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. So, so they were going to take him to the county jail. Then they said, well, if your leg's broken, we should probably take you to the hospital. Would you like to go to the hospital with your broken leg? And they said, he said, no. And then they were told by headquarters to take him back to the command center they had set up instead of going to the police station. So they take him there. They get to the command center. They turn him over to the agent in charge of FBI operations in Mississippi. So they turn him over to somebody who's, ready to grill this guy. He re-Mirandizes Crawford and interviews him with a couple other agents. He didn't sign a waiver of his rights, but he verbally responded to being, yes, I understand, saying that he said he could not understand why they wanted to talk to him, but he would answer their questions. I don't know what you want to talk to me about, but I'm here, so might as well. He complained that he hadn't been doing anything and that his back was injured as a result of falling into a well. I've hurt my leg and my back and I'm not doing anything, and now you guys are breaking my balls and pulling me into this shit. It's ridiculous. He said during the interrogation here, he lies down on the floor saying that it alleviates the back pain.
Yeah. Well, one of y'all walk on my back, please?
Yeah, they're doing one of y'all just George Jefferson me back and forth. So he said he'd been out hunting and he fell in a hole, and that's what happened to him. He fell in a sinkhole. So they ask him if they say that's all great and dandy. Is Christy still alive?
Yeah.
That's all we really want to know. That's the first time they mention Christy and Crawford. He's a poker guy, I would imagine. Like, he would be World Series of Poker. This guy would be a champion because they mention her name and he immediately begins to cry.
What?
So that's not a good poker face. That's a bad tell there.
Yeah.
That's a bad if you fucking bet a lot on the river there, right, and somebody breaks down in tears, that's a good sign that you got something. Yeah. You're doing well here.
Good sign they got a bad hand.
Either they're folding or they're bluffing, probably. Or they're a great actor. Just tremendous. Has
anybody ever done that in the World Series? That's a genius move. If you've got a good hand, just start crying.
What do you do? They wouldn't know. They'd be like, is that a bad? Is he happy? Is he just having a mental breakdown? Or what's happening to this guy? They wouldn't know how to bet. They wouldn't know how to do it. That they had, especially if they would like studied you before and what you do, they'd be like, "You never did this."
This is just a fucking curveball.
Whoa. So they ask him, "Was Christy alive?" And he begins to sob, and then he admits that she's not alive anymore. He tells her Christy's not alive, and then he agrees to lead law enforcement to her body. Okay, this whole thing takes about 20 minutes to crack him and get him to not only admit to it, but say, "I'll take you where she is."
Super dangerous.
Wow. So they leave the command center at about 8:00 on Saturday night. He escorts them. He leads the search team. He's out in front because he's the one who knows the woods.
Flashlight.
Yeah, he knows where he's going. He knows the woods. They said during the search, he never once complained about his back or leg. Walked forever through the woods, up and down hills. This way, everybody. They reached a heavily wooded area covered with leaves, and he said that Christy was there. Yeah. They found where she was, and he asked all the cops why they didn't, at this point, once they found her, he says, "Why don't you all just finish me off?" Now he's asking them to shoot him.
Wow.
He says, "We're in the woods. No one will know." Like, you could say I tried to run away or tried to...
There's a body right there. Just make two.
Say I tried to attack you or something. When you found the body, just shoot me, And they were like, "Yeah, we're not going to do that. We're like the FBI and stuff.
We kind of do this the right way.
Well, there's a lot of people around. Right. Maybe if it was just a couple of us, but I mean, we've
already started paperwork.
There's a whole command center.
You disappear now. It looks bad.
There's a whole command center. They saw us bring you in. It's not looking good at this point here. So they find her body at 9:48 p.m. It's 400 yards from an abandoned barn, which is the Hopper barn, which is like his hangout, which is like this creepy fuck hanging out in a fucking barn.
That's scummy.
Just in the middle of nowhere in a heavily wooded area. So they raked leaves back to uncover her body finally because he had put her under leaves. Her hands were cuffed behind her back around a small tree.
Oh, no.
So he cuffed her hands around a tree and then covered her up in leaves.
Oh, my God.
A sock had been stuffed into her mouth.
Fuck, man.
And he put something around her head to hold the sock in place in her mouth, and not blindfolded, but also her jeans were pulled down below her hips here. So they do find, they get the crime scene people in. The pathologist says that she suffers a single stab wound to the chest. That's the cause of death.
Oh, dear Lord.
Single stab wound to the chest. She had multiple abrasions over her right and lower left extremities, as well as scrapes to the skin in her back and her buttocks.
So he beat the shit out of her?
He dragged her.
Okay.
Is what he did. She also had scrapes on her face and chest, as well as contusions on her lips and abrasions on her wrists. So, the injuries were, wrist injuries were consistent with handcuffing. The scrapes on her back and thigh were occurred when she was alive, and were consistent with injuries received while a person was engaged in a flight response. So it looked like a fight. She tried to get away, and he did whatever to keep her there. He also says the injuries were consistent with Christy being dragged along a hard surface, possibly with twigs and branches for little,
forest floor
cuts and dings and stuff like that. The injuries were also consistent with those occurring on someone attempting to resist a rape. The same injuries they find on people. The abrasions to her face and contusions on her lip were consistent with her face being pressed against a hard surface as opposed to being dragged.
Oh, Jesus.
They say that Christy died from a large stab wound to the left mid-chest, which punctured her heart and left lung, causing obviously bleeding, and it took her about between 1 and 2 minutes to die, probably, is the thing. So at least it wasn't...
a miserable way to go.
It's miserable. At least it wasn't some 20-minute...
Yeah. I mean,
bleed out.
Who
That's
knows?
Horrible.
It was probably a 20-minute or more. Longer.
The ordeal was horrific.
And then just one knife plunge.
One knife plunge.
Oh, fuck, man.
They testified that it was probably made by a Marine Corps style knife, a certain kind of knife.
Rambo knife.
It was measured 1 1/4 inches width and 4 1/2 inches deep.
Yeah.
So it's a big knife, and it corresponded with the knife that they think it was. They said she suffered multiple contusions that measured up to approximately 1 centimeter, which would be 3/8 of an inch. Jesus Christ, this is just brutal. Okay, I gotta say all this bad shit.
You gotta do it.
Basically, the evidence that he anally raped her as well. That's what I'm getting at here. Some damage
and pushed
back
her
there.
face against
and
something.
hard, and so. Once they arrest him after they find the body and all that, he gives a more detailed account here of everything that he did. He says that he didn't know her, but he saw her around the Walnut area. He said that he was worried about an upcoming event, meaning his trial, but that he wouldn't say that, but that's what it is, which was Monday. And he said he wanted to be alone. And when he wanted to be alone, he went to the Hopper Barn, which was this middle of nowhere scary murder barn. So he said that early morning that morning, his mother dropped him off along Providence Road to go hunting. He said he had an over and under double barrel shotgun. He said that he had a knife similar to a Marine Corps knife, which is there, and a .22 caliber revolver. He said that he'd been stockpiling food and drink at the Hopper Barn for about a month in case he decided to go on the lam from his trial. So he said when he got to the barn, he had some cookies and a drink. Isn't that sweet? You fucking idiot. Cookies and a drink. Can you imagine him? The thought of him sitting there enjoying a chocolate chip cookie with like a juice box makes me want to fucking kick him right in the teeth over and over again after he did all that. You don't deserve a fucking juice box, you asshole.
It was probably like sugar snaps and
you just want to fucking shove it in his mouth, and you fucking like that, you son of a bitch, and then kick it into his mouth. I'll kick it down your throat, you want a cookie, you cocksucker? I hate this guy.
It was certainly a cookie and a drink that do not go together.
No, it was probably hugs. Those little tinfoil covered barrel things that you buy by the case for like 49 cents a case. He had hugs and fucking dry archway
awful
shit
just
cookies.
Awful.
That's what he had. He had Hydrox. That's what he had. He had knockoff Oreos. Fucking Hydrox and hugs. That's what he's eating. Flavors that don't go together. An orange drink with chocolate chip cookie, or a chocolate cookie with shit.
Oh, you're talking about like those barrel drinks?
With the tin foil, the little tin thing.
God,
that are just syrup.
So gross.
They're just syrup.
Oh, they're so bad.
But if you get them cold enough, you can down them. Yeah, if they're warm, it's just thick. It's like they're like melted flavor, melted ice pops,
melted Otter Pops.
Otter Pops. There you go. They're melted Otter Pops.
Juice.
That's what they are. It's like, who's a melted
sugar water with some color.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's so bad.
Terrible. That's what I figure he has there. So,
I didn't know what you were talking about. Until I got it in my head. I was like, oh God, the little barrels, the plastic barrels.
Jesus Christ. Not even a lid, just a tin foil.
How fucking cheap.
Cheap as shit. That's why a case is 89 cents. There's a reason for that.
They glue tin foil to
3 cents a pop.
And somebody paid their mortgage with that shit.
Oh,
that's how cheap those are.
Someone is the heir to the Hugs fortune. You understand that? Someone out there is like bragging that when I turn 21, I get my whole Hugs trust. It's huge.
A house built with like 10 billion hugs.
The house of Hugs.
It would take so many to buy a house.
So many to buy a house. Just you'd have to sell them for fifth. That we've been in business for 4 generations, and we finally turned a profit. Finally paid back what it cost to make the machines to make it. Finally, I knew it would happen someday. So. This asshole with his cookies and his drink, dickhead.
Fucking jerk.
He said that he's very concerned about that upcoming event and that he considered running away, but he has no money.
Right.
So he couldn't really run away.
Tough.
Yeah, he also said he considered suicide, but he couldn't bring himself to do it.
Pussy.
Yeah, he's like, I tried to get a girl to do it for me after I raped her, and she wouldn't do it, and the cops wouldn't kill me. So
that's not suicide. That's asking somebody to murder you because you can't do it.
Yeah, I feel like Fletch wouldn't have worked as well well as a movie if that was the premise.
That was the thing?
Yeah.
No.
So he said he stayed in the barn until midday, and then he went to go hunting and hiking, just wandering around, clear his head. You know what I mean? So he said he reached an area he was not familiar with. He decided to build a fire, which he soon put out because he was concerned that someone would see the smoke and know where he was. So it's at this point he said that he had a blackout. As he put the fire out, next thing you know, he is in just dark times, blackout. Don't know what's happening.
In the middle of the Mississippi woods.
Middle of the woods, middle of the day. He said the next thing he remembered was being inside the Ray residence, Christy Ray's house, where Mary Ray's the mother. That's all he remembered. Blackout by the fire. Next thing he knows, he's in a house.
Okay.
Poof.
Yeah.
Magically. He said that when he came out of the blackout, he heard someone crying in one of the back bedrooms of the house. So obviously he wanted to go investigate that. Christy was on the floor of one of the rooms, and he said her hands were cuffed behind her back. He said that he then put on a ski mask so that Christy wouldn't be able to identify him, and he asked Christy where her car keys were. He said that he took Christy and put her in the car and drove away. He said he took Christy from the house because he didn't know what was going on, and he figured it would just be better to take her with him, just in case. Maybe she can explain what's happening. I don't know what is fucking... That's what he tells the police.
Logic now is... This is crazy.
His logic is insane.
It's nuts.
His logic is like worse than the one guy's story when he said, I went in and there was already a black guy killing my mother-in-law, so I killed him and hid the body just so my wife wouldn't know that... you know, that shit.
There's clearly a victim here, but I'm going to put a ski mask on now...
and take her...
so that she can't recognize me.
Just in case. I don't know what happened.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I tend to do crazy shit when I black out.
This is a guy that can't kill himself, but we don't have the lead singer of Soundgarden around anymore.
We don't have a lot of people around anymore. We don't have Anthony Bourdain to fucking bitch about food anymore, and tons of other people.
We don't have Robin Williams. Several fucking guy.
Several friends of mine that didn't have that. You know, they
weren't raping chicks.
No, I've lost several people who've never raped anyone to suicide, but this asshole can't do it. So yeah. He said that he didn't know what he was doing, just wanted to take her just in case. He said he denied writing or ever having seen that ransom note, though. That must have been a coincidence. That must have been someone came there to kidnap her, and I had already taken her. Or I popped up in the middle of someone else's kidnapping. Maybe they went to get McDonald's or something, and I popped up, and Christy was like, hey, someone's here to save me, and then I just put a ski mask on and took her in the car. I don't know what happened. But
everybody just wants to kidnap me.
It's people just coming in left and right. Are you here to kidnap me too? Well, yes, I am, little darling. Like, what the fuck is happening? So,
thank God I brought this ski mask.
Well, Jesus, I mean, that's convenient.
Yeah.
So he's never seen that ransom note. He said he stated to the police that Christy was very upset when they left her house. Well, no shit. You're dragging a girl from her home in handcuffs. What the in a ski mask?
In a ski mask.
What the shit do you fucking expect? Day. So then he says, as they drove around and started talking, she started to calm down and relax. He said that they drove around for about 45 minutes to an hour talking. He said then he abandoned the car and took Christy out of the car. She's still handcuffed. He says he still has the knife, the revolver, and the shotgun at this point. He says at this point, they made a deal where he would take her handcuffs off if she promised not to run away. That's the deal. So he takes her handcuffs off, and she doesn't run away. That's the deal.
Yeah.
So they walk back and forth along Jonesboro Road, and Crawford then decided it was getting cold, and they should go to the Hopper barn to spend the night there. So now this poor girl is like, I'm spending the night with you? What the fuck is happening? So he says that as they approached the barn, he fell into a sinkhole that came up to his neck. And that's where his back and leg.
That's a chance to run.
So he said, and as he fell in, his arms went up and he tossed the shotgun away by accident as he fell into the hole. So now he's in a hole with the shotgun out of his reach.
Yeah, very never-ending story.
This is perfect here. So Christy, he says, asked him if he was all right, picked up the shotgun and helped pull him out of the hole.
What the?
Rather than emptying the whole thing into a
fucking
fish in a barrel and then fucking running to nearest civilization, which is wow. So instead he said, but I mean, I get it. She's just trying to, she doesn't even, I don't know what she must be thinking. This is horrific for this poor young woman. This is fucking terrible. So he says that at that point they went in the barn. He and Christy had something to drink and ate some cookies together.
He gave her a hug.
He gave her a hugs and some of his shit Hydrox, and not even the chocolate ones, the vanilla ones. You know what I mean? Terrible. Gross. It had to be. They ate cookies, and he said they huddled together in the barn for warmth and talked throughout the night. Mm-hmm. God, this poor girl, I just want to rush in there and fucking beat him to death and drag her out.
There's no way this is the right story, right?
So, he says the next morning he heard a police siren and he thought he saw a sheriff's car coming away from his grandparents' house, which was visible from the Hopper barn in the woods there. So he said he told Christy it was the law. It's the law. Mm-hmm. You're in a part of the country, by the way, where they call police the law. The law. Which is a very specific part of the country. I've never heard anybody go, the law's after me. Not, and be serious. Not once. You know what I mean?
Well, my stepfather.
Shit, be cool. The law. Yeah, that's never.
My shitbag stepfather told me and my brother, you guys can go to the mall, but if I get a call from the law, that's when I found out how white trash we were.
If I get a call from the law, you two have been vandalizing the Chess King. I'll tell you what.
And then he got a call from the law.
Y'all go in there stealing things from merry-go-round. Go in there stealing some Z Cavaricis. There's going to be trouble in hell to pay, boy. Don't let me catch you.
Keep your ass out that Sears and stop shoplifting.
God. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
That's what it was.
And the law called him. Wow. So it's the law. Mm-hmm. And at that point, he says that she tried to talk him into turning himself in. Mm-hmm. So at that point, he said he fled into the woods with his shotgun and knife. He was like, I'm getting out of here, and ran away. He says that Christy ran after him in order to try to convince him to turn himself into the authorities. That's what she was saying. Hold on, come back, go turn yourself in, rather than going, later, all the cops are there. Hey, thanks for saving me. Right. He's running through the woods. Enjoy. But I don't know if this is true or if she's just a nice person who's trying to... I don't know what it is. She feels like she knows him, sort of. I don't know what the deal is.
No, he's trying to paint a picture of she's attached to him. That's what's going on.
That's what she's
There's
trying.
There's no fucking way this is real.
That's what I'm saying. I was going to say. Or he's full of shit and he's telling a really self-serving story.
There was we huddled. She didn't get a hug.
I'm saying.
She didn't get any Hydrox. She got drug into the woods, raped and murdered, and he had a hugs and some Hydrox and fell asleep.
And said I gave her one too. Yeah. Or he might have gave her some beforehand, based on what he did with Sue. He's a weird fucker. He doesn't do things based on logic.
Figuratively and literally.
Well, think about, of all the murderers we've covered and all the murderers who are like rapists and murderers, we've covered a shitload of these people. Their actions make sense in terms of the world they're living in, the actions they're taking. Like they do A and then they do B. This guy does A and then he's like, maybe Q is next. Like he's just not normal.
His IKEA furniture is fucked up.
Oh, dude, the feet are sticking up. It's flat on the ground.
There's a foot sticking out. There's a leg sticking out sideways. How am I supposed to sit on that, you asshole?
His coffee table slanted all the way down to the floor on one side.
The most abstract IKEA you've ever seen.
Shit is messed up. Yeah. They're like, this is brilliant art.
You put a fucking book on and it slides straight to the floor.
It's either brilliant art or you're terrible at putting shit together. Either one. I'm not sure which one it is.
ABQ.
It's ABQ. But in all the things, he doesn't do C.
No.
He just doesn't. He does
C.
Q, and then we go back to H, and then we'll jump around to fucking D. I don't know what he's doing.
A and B. This is fucking boring.
This is boring. Let's see what's going on down at Q. You want some cookies? Like, what the fuck is happening with this guy? What is he doing?
We just stumbled upon what the definition of insanity is.
This is it.
That's what it is.
It's right here.
If you have no functioning way of coexisting with us.
Insanity can be described in this one sentence. A, B, Q want some cookies. That's it. That's insanity.
Yeah.
A to B to Q, who wants cookies? Pardon?
A, B, Q, cookie time.
Cookie time. What? The fuck are you talking about, man?
Hey, VQ, we're done. Let's have cookies. That's what it is. Because he starts it, he has the fucking step way too far away, and then he's like, fuck it. Let's just do something else.
I don't know what he's doing. So he's claiming Christie's running after him, going, turn yourself in, turn yourself in. He said that Christy told him that no one had been hurt and that she would help him if he turned himself in. Yeah. She says, look, you didn't hurt me. Nothing happened. You put some cuffs on me, scared the shit out of me, dragged me out of my house to the woods, but you didn't beat me, you didn't rape me, you didn't kill me, you didn't do anything to me. So it's cool, dude.
Yeah.
Just be fucking cool, man, and turn yourself in. Stop being a dick. C follows B, dude.
Right.
So, no, I don't want any more cookies. Bro, turn yourself in.
The laws here be cool.
Jesus, the law's cool, man. They're going to be chill about the whole thing. So he was concerned because he said he didn't know how he was going to explain abducting her, which... There is no explanation.
No, yeah.
That's the explanation.
I get it.
I don't have one. You can't abduct people.
I'm on board with you, man. Period. I don't know how I'd be able to explain it either.
I don't know how you would explain it either, dummy. So he said that he felt low at that point, real depressed and real low, and that Christy had more or less convinced him to let her go. He said that until this time, he said that he kept his ski mask on at all times.
Wow.
Except when it was dark inside the barn and Christy couldn't see his face anyway. Yeah. Otherwise, he's all ski mask all the time. Good and she Lord. Is apparently reaching out and trying to soothe this ski masked beast. Right. I don't know. That's his story anyway. So he said that he did all that. He also said that when Christy convinced him to let her go, he then took the mask off, and then Christy allegedly at that point recognized him as someone she'd seen around town. So then she said, "Oh, I know you. I've seen you here or there." And,
don't do that.
What are you doing? So then he said that they began walking back to Christy's car. As they began walking back to Christy's car, he gave her the shotgun.
Yeah.
He said, "Here, you can have the shotgun. It might probably make you feel more comfortable if you have it, not me." Yeah. And then he said, at that point, blackout.
Yeah.
Walking back, felt kind of depressed, and then gone. Complete blackout. He says the next thing he remembered, he was sitting on a stump in the woods wearing a T-shirt, blue jeans, and no shoes. He said Christy was lying at his feet, handcuffed behind her back, and she was dead. He claimed that she was fully clothed with one of his socks in her mouth, and then he decided to hide the body and dragged her by her feet across the ground.
Oh, gross.
He says that's how in his mind, he says that's how he explained how her pants and underwear were pulled down below her hips, because he was dragging her that way with her hands above her head like that. He then covered her body with leaves so that no one would find her, and he said he sat on the tree stump for a while and thought about what he was going to do. He said he put his boots back on, got his shotgun and his knife, and headed back toward the woods to the road. Yeah. He said that he knew people were looking for him, but he didn't know why. Well, he's been blacking out.
Listen, you think telling people that you kidnapped somebody's hard.
That's hard. Yeah. I'm pretty sure the dead girl you have has something to do with why the police are looking for. If you awaken from a blackout in the woods above a dead college student, you think the cops are looking for you, that's probably why.
Yeah.
That's not for anything else.
No.
This guy missed traffic court. Let's get him.
And the explanation just got miles harder.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So he said he neared the road. He saw a patrol car, so he hid himself from view on a hillside. When the patrol car left, he crossed the road into the woods. He said that he then fell into an abandoned well that was about 10 feet deep.
He's a clumsy motherfucker.
He said he then used his knife to dig himself out.
Wow.
How do you dig yourself out?
I don't know.
First of all, he didn't put it in the wall and climb up. He said he dug himself out of a 10-foot well. So he dug 10 feet to the surface, made a 10-foot tunnel, which 10 feet deep means the tunnel would have to be 30 feet long to get the angle, to not be straight up a vertical fucking tunnel.
Good Lord.
So he then dug a 30-foot man-sized hole with a knife. So then 6 weeks later, when he got out of it, are you fucking kidding me?
Mexican cocaine smuggler?
That's what I mean. Thank you, El Chapo. I think we're good. So, fuck out of here with that bullshit. He said he continued toward his residence, popping out of the ground like John Goodman in Raising Arizona. He said, popping out of the mud. He said this was a house belonging to his ex-father-in-law, and that's when, like we said, he approached the house, shotgun and knife, and was arrested. So he discussed with the FBI or with the police officer that he realized that taking Christy was wrong. So that's said, you know that was wrong, right? He's like, yeah, no, I was wrong. Yeah. I know that's bad. Yeah. Killing her, way worse.
Oh, boy.
He later stated that he originally denied knowing any knowledge of her disappearance to buy himself some time to think about what he was going to do. He just didn't know what to do here. Yeah. He also said that he must have killed her, obviously. I mean, no one else was around, but he doesn't remember doing so. And he told the police officer that he sometimes has blackouts and he doesn't know what happens during these blackouts and he can't control himself and all that type of shit. So they testify here.
Story, bro.
Yeah, not a good story. I don't know. I just black out and girls die. I don't know. That's cool, right? I mean, I don't know what's happening, so it's fine, right?
That's a terrible story.
Yeah. So a Mississippi Highway patrolman here, he says that clothing, bedding, handcuff keys, a padlock with keys, ammunition, food, and soft drinks were found in the Hopper barn. Mm-hmm. He said that on February 7th, 93, which was earlier, voluntary searchers found a pair of shoes, men's briefs, long john bottoms, and a T-shirt near where Christie's body was found then. So that was earlier. So he was hanging out in that area is basically what they're trying to say here. They stated that the shoes found between the trees and shrubs looked as if they'd been thrown there, while the underwear and T-shirt were found under a brush pile. He also said, another police officer said that he later found a knife and a pistol in a nylon holster in his field, which was located a quarter mile from the Hopper barn. And another police officer said that he searched the area where the knife and gun were found and discovered a belt with a Harley Davidson buckle on it with the name Chuck stamped on the back of it. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even ride motorcycles. Number one, that ain't mine. None of that stuff's mine. It's not like it's got my name on it or nothing. Oh, yeah? What do they call you? Well, y'all know they call me Chuck. Okay, Chuck, as they turn it around in his face, you stupid bastard.
Unbelievable.
The belt is very similar to the one that he's wearing, which also has the name Chuck stamped on the back. So
same font.
Same, yeah. So I mean, it says he likes that belt buckle, and he fucking puts Chuck on the back of it, so everyone knows in case he loses it. You know how that goes. Hey, always losing my belt buckle everywhere. He said that he admitted to the investigators that he owned the type of knife that they think was used. He also owns a Taurus 22 caliber revolver, and the weapons and belt match the descriptions that he gave. The Mississippi Crime Lab guy, he says that hairs collected from the clothing found in the Hopper barn were compared with known samples of hair from Christie and found to exhibit the same characteristics. That's as good as you could do without a DNA test on hair. Andrew also, this is the guy, Joe Andrews is the crime lab guy. He also says that hairs found on clothing recovered by the other guy exhibited the same characteristics as pubic hairs taken from Crawford.
Yes.
So they got him on pubes.
Yeah.
Pube evidence will fuck you.
Shave them. File it down.
Like Dennis on Always Sunny. I'm like a turtle down there. So, another.
Why are you still fucking around with those?
Yeah, I know.
It's 94, 95? What is this?
93.
93? Why you still got them, sir?
In the rural area, it's probably still a little bushy down there. So, a forensic person here with the Mississippi Crime Lab, another one, Debbie Holler, she will later testify that stains found on briefs appeared to be a mixture of blood and seminal fluid. Mm-hmm. The long johns also contained blood stains, and they had a hard time. The crime lab, they had broken down a little bit. They couldn't find testing wasn't as good in 93 as it is now. Yeah. Now they can test fucking, grease from your finger that you left on something 6 months ago. But back then they needed like a really good sample to do shit.
6 months ago, they can find shit you did in the 70s.
Yeah, absolutely.
And use that today.
Yeah.
If you for sure did this.
Yeah, no shit. So they did DNA testing along with blood samples from Christie. A vaginal swab was taken from her body to determine the presence of seminal fluid. So he didn't remember that either. Also, this determined that Crawford is included in the possible source of seminal fluid. It breaks it down to basically a 500,000 person set.
Yeah.
Where this is back then. It isn't now where they can do it to the 30 billion. This is to 500,000. So
still pretty good.
In this area, it's
pretty great.
The odds are pretty good that it's probably nobody else out of 500,000 people it has could be in this whole thing, considering there's like 600 people here at this time, not even in this whole area. The mix of blood and semen found on the briefs matched Christie and Crawford both. So it all matches up here. They go to trial. First he's going through all this. He's got trial on Monday still.
Yeah.
So he's got all this weekend, and then they got to sit his ass down in a fucking courtroom.
Start all over.
Imagine being his lawyer.
Oh, boy.
What the hell happened to you this weekend? Well.
How's your weekend? Oh, let me tell you.
Want some cookies? A, B, Q, here's a cookie. All right. Fuck, man. So, this is the trial. The rape of his ex-sister-in-law is a separate thing. This is a trial for the assault of Nicole Cutbirth with the fucking framing hammer. Jesus Christ.
He has a different court date for that one, too?
Yeah. What? So now he's got a murder thing he's got this thing, and then he's got a rape thing hanging over him, too.
They really hung it in consecutive order of escalation, too.
He's in deep shit here.
Assault, rape, murder.
Yeah, well, the murder trial is going to be second. The rape is going to be kind of a...
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a different thing.
Okay.
I'm not sure if they ever end up actually prosecuting the rape of Sue or not, or if they end up just saying these are enough, because there's a competency hearing the morning of the trial. You know, ABQ cookies is a good defense.
They keep asking questions and he keeps screaming, cookie time!
The cookie defense works sometimes. So I like cookies. I like the purple one with hugs. I want the purple hugs. He testifies that he could not aid his lawyer in the case and could not meaningfully participate in his defense because of his medication he's been taking following 2 recent seizures. So he says he's all fucked up. He doesn't know what's going on. And they had an hour and 20-minute hearing, and they found him competent to stand trial. They said, you're good enough. You're fine here. So there's been a lot of witnesses, of experts here. They talk a lot about lithium and all sorts of shit. One doctor testifies the levels of lithium, quote, have barely been therapeutic or lower than therapeutic. I would not expect lithium itself would have any effect on his ability to understand his legal situation and consult with an attorney.
So he's trying to blame that?
No. He's saying I'm not competent to stand trial because I can't aid my attorney in the case because I'm on lithium.
I'm jacked up on lithium.
And they said that shouldn't affect your ability to help your attorney, the fact that you're on lithium. So they said the dosage level was 100 milligrams 3 times a day. He said, I would not expect that would interfere with his ability to consult with an attorney. That opinion is further bolstered by the fact that, as you mentioned, this is the 4th time that I've seen him, which the doctor had seen him then. That's what he says.
300 milligrams a day isn't a lot?
Apparently not of that. I don't know. Apparently you need a lot of that.
Sounds like a lot.
Apparently you just take a big handful.
I mean, a 500 milligram of
it's like a protein. Vicodin. It's like a protein powder. Yeah. You just, well, like a Vicodin.
But I mean, like
80s
even in that,
Oxy.
Even in that, there's very little of the active ingredient. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This may be similar. I don't know.
I have no.
I'm not a fucking chemist, nor a.
I'm not a pill guy. No. So I've never had any drugs like that, like doctor prescribed, and then I don't like regular pills. So I'm not a pill dude. I'm just not into that shit.
300 milligrams doesn't seem like a lot.
No, it seems like, or it does.
Or it does seem like a lot.
It seems like a lot to me. Yeah. So anyway, they say he's okay to stand trial. He understands the shit against him. This is 5 witnesses testify on behalf of the state during the trial for Cutbirth, including the victim, who says, yes, that's the man that beat me over the head with a fucking framing hammer, which is very bad. And her companion, Sue, she also testifies too, that of seeing the hammer and having Christy outside and the whole deal, and also testifies obviously to the horrors of their fucking being raped, as well as we'll talk about here. The defendant's sister-in-law here, that's what we'll talk about her. I won't give her real name, even though they give it in the court documents.
That's fucked up.
Don't need to do it there. So this Cutbirth identified Crawford as her assailant, and we'll call her Sue still. She testified that they objected, obviously the defense, but she testified that she was raped by Crawford minutes before he walked out of the house and hit Nicole over the head with a fucking hammer, which makes it worse.
Yeah.
This makes it sound a lot worse somehow.
It makes you, as a person, whoever's doing that, way worse of a human being and more dangerous, because you just came and yet still you have the energy and wherewithal to go attack somebody? Oh my
That's
God.
What I mean. After you've raped somebody. So
I barely have the energy to shower.
Yeah, and that's after consensual sex.
Good point.
You know what I mean? Which I think would be...
I did leave that hanging for a second.
Yeah, I was going to say, when I'm raping... Jesus, I don't even...
Shit Christ, I'm tired.
I can barely cover up the crime scene afterwards. It's ridiculous. I could barely cover up my corpse with leaves.
After holding her down for so many minutes? That was crazy.
That's horrible. Jesus
I'm breaking
Christ.
a sweat.
What a piece of fucking shit this guy is.
Yeah.
So the evidence, he argues that the 2 searches of his home were unconstitutional searches, and that any items, like the hammer that he used to hit this woman with and all that shit, that were obtained through these searches are inadmissible and everything like that. The officers who'd responded to the call, the attack here, they say that they basically, they didn't search the house. They did a protective sweep.
Yeah.
They were looking for someone that could be in danger. So they did a sweep, and they didn't open drawers. They didn't do anything like that. They was just what's sitting out.
Sure.
And if you think there's a hammer and someone got hit with a hammer, you might want to grab that.
Mm-hmm.
So they said no one was present at the home. The sheriff's deputy said, quote, by the way, he is, the chief sheriff here is named Hopper. On Stranger Things, which is pretty fucking funny.
Also, like the barn.
The barn. Everything's named Hopper here.
What is happening here?
Hopper, Mississippi. He said, we immediately entered the residence because we felt there was still a crime in progress. We made a thorough search of the residence by going through one room at a time. He says that he testified as to what he found. He said some of the items were rolls of duct tape, or one roll of duct tape that I remember. There was also tape. Other tape was around the house that had what appeared to be hair fibers on them. Outside the residence, in the yard, there was also duct tape with hair fibers on the bed, where there was blood stains on the bed. Also, the tampon was on the bed. There was also, some green leafy substance in I believe the hallway, possibly a marijuana cigarette, which was also in the hall and would appear to be another marijuana cigarette. This is what he writes. He also says that this was lawful under the, emergency doctrine, basically, that allows for a warrantless search, in a narrowly defined circumstances, reasonable grounds to believe that there's an emergency at hand, an immediate need for their assistance, for the protection of life or property. This 100% qualifies, Absolutely. I believe, for that. So, at the close of the case here, at the close of the Cuthbert case, he moves for a directed verdict of acquittal. He says, I believe that the judge should just acquit me right now, obviously. He's
We're getting this again?
Clearly. I think we can all agree what they just put forward was bullshit. I don't even need to respond. Judge, I would just bang that little hammer there, and can you just give me one of those? There, give me one of those. I'll be on my way.
Head on out, grab a hug and a Hydrox.
Sorry we all wasted our time. Cookies for everybody, on me. How's that? We'll make everyone feel better. Who wants a hug? So, he argues that he was deprived of his right to a fundamentally fair trial by his judge's failure to declare a mistrial after the prosecution elicited testimony concerning the rape charge against him. But the judge said it was okay. It was over objection. They talk about, on the stand, they had this Sioux girl up there, and they said, what did he do to you with the gun at the house? And she said, he held it up to my head and told me to be quiet. After he held the gun to your head and told me to be quiet, she said, and do what he said. They said, he gave you the gun and told you to shoot him, and she says, yes, sir. So that's true. He did give her the gun. Why was Chuck Crawford asking you to shoot him? What had he done that he wanted you to shoot him for? That's when there's an objection, and it goes back and forth, and the judge says, answer the question, and she says, he raped me.
Boom.
That's why. Yeah. So there's another objection.
Suck it, sir.
Suck it, sir. Yeah. No cookies for you. Sorry. So it's at that point that they ask for a mistrial. The defense asks for a mistrial. The court says, go fuck your mother. Mm-hmm. No mistrial. We're moving this on. The jury is told to disregard that answer and that question. Strike from the jury, whatever. But they just heard that he raped her at gunpoint, then gave her a gun.
Yeah.
ABQ. Weird shit. So they're like, this is motherfucker's weird. So he says that this line of questioning constitutes prosecutorial misconduct, and of course he'll bring that up later on. He also produces one witness. Dr. L.D. Hutt, a Memphis clinical psychologist who testified that in his opinion, Crawford was suffering from bipolar disorder, manic type at the time of his attack. He stated that, quote, that given the psychiatric history and my findings, Carl Crawford, the outfielder. Right. That's what I'm thinking the whole time. Chuck Crawford, Jesus Christ, that he did not have the ability to differentiate between right and wrong and conform his behavior to the dictates of the law at that time. So they said he's fucking temporary insanity is what he's getting at here. State produced 2 witnesses in rebuttal that says, oh, he's fucking fine. He was sane when he hit her with a claw hammer. He's sane when he raped people. He's all that kind of shit. Closing arguments, jury takes 40 minutes to come back with unsurprisingly guilty of aggravated assault. He is sentenced right there. You, sir, may fuck off. 20 years in prison.
That's a good start.
That's a good start for the hammer attack. Now, it's a 4-day trial, 20 years in prison. So that's a good start. Yeah. Now we can worry about,
It's not
rapes.
going anywhere. We can prepare the rest of this shit.
Rapes and murders. Yeah. And the state says, you know what? Well, we got him for 20 years. Let's go ahead and go for the death penalty on Christie, because that was real shitty the way he did that. So he says, I'm fucking crazy. I was crazy a little while ago in the last trial. I'm still crazy. I'm super crazy. Yeah. So he goes through the same things, same reasons he says he's crazy, same bullshit. He presents an insanity defense through the testimony of family members. A psychiatrist named Dr. Stanley Russell with the Mississippi Department of Corrections, who had treated him when he was housed there when he was arrested originally here for this whole thing. This psychiatrist testified that Crawford suffered from depression and periods of time lapse about which he has no memory. He diagnosed Crawford as a psychogenic amnesiac. So basically a crazy fucker that loses his memory and does wild shit.
Part right, but I don't know.
Yeah, so that's what he says. He referred to his medical history, including medication prescribed by a psychiatrist when Crawford was 10, his hospitalization multiple times, and all this type of shit. And his diagnoses in the past, the lithium and all that. He also testifies, this Russell, says that his anger and Crawford's anger and resentment as a child and his antisocial behavior as a teenager. He testifies that in his opinion, Crawford satisfies the test for not being criminally responsible for his actions as a result of a mental disorder that affected his reasoning to the point he was not aware of what he was doing, basically. So there's a rebuttal here by another psychologist that says he's fucking fine. Yeah. He's a faker. Yeah. He's a malingerer. Yeah. Fuck this guy.
Yeah.
He says there's no evidence that Crawford even ever suffered from bipolar illness based on the reviews of his diagnosis. He doesn't think that Crawford had a disease of the mind, an illness, or a major mental disorder. He testified that there was nothing in Crawford's records to show he was delusional or show that he was suffering from irrational belief or hearing voices. He also said that Russell, the first doctor, improperly diagnosed Crawford as psychogenic amnesiac because Crawford, quote, appeared to be malingering his problems or memory deficits. He also stated that Crawford showed premeditation and that he knew the nature and quality of his actions and he was able to distinguish between right and wrong. Fucking agreed.
Yeah.
Another one here, the Mississippi State Hospital said that, yes, he's sane. They said that psychogenic amnesia is an extremely rare diagnosis that, in his opinion, Crawford does not have. That's like so rare.
Right.
It's not a normal thing for that to happen.
None of this shit's normal to happen.
None of this is normal. Right. No, it's common, but not normal, unfortunately, here. He believed that Crawford was planning the act and purposely concealed Christy Ray's body, and this showed that he knew the nature and quality of his act, even if he was whatever,
right,
and he did not want to get caught.
That's the part.
That's what's going on here. Now, he testified at a suppression hearing before this, at the time of his arrest, that he was walking with his shotgun as a crutch because he had hurt himself. He said he had stepped through a dry well and fell through some tin. He said that there was also some debate whether he should be taken to the hospital or the school. They go through all this shit to see if he was properly cared for. He gave his interview on the floor because he couldn't sit up in the chair because he was in so much pain. Crawford told the authorities. Crawford said that the authorities told him that the quicker we got over this, the quicker we can get you out of here and get you the medical attention you need. So basically, they said until you confess, you're not going to get medical attention. Is what they told him. And basically, they needed to find Christy. So they said, we don't really care if your back hurts.
Right.
Where's this girl that's missing? Because that's more important. Yeah, we don't give a shit about that at this point. They thought maybe she was alive still then. So yeah.
I see him laying on the ground with like his hands on his belly.
Yeah, going, ooh, it's just uncomfortable.
Oh, I'm in so much pain.
Yeah, so they denied that they inferred that they would withhold medical treatment and all that kind of shit. The cops all denied. Basically, they said it's voluntarily given. They denied refusing him medical treatment. They said they treated him on the up and up. He also asserts, Crawford does, that FBI agent Summerlin went to that law office of his lawyer and obtained his mental health records from a law student working for his lawyer. He says prior to his arrest, FBI agent read the mental health records and consulted with FBI behavioral science expert about techniques for obtaining a confession from persons with his psychological profile.
Damn interns.
Which the FBI 100% would want his psych records to see how they can approach him. Yeah. You've watched Mindhunter, people. Yeah. If they had access to a dude's psych records, that's great.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to know how to get a confession a little easier out of him if you know what he's about. So now he's saying, so that's his big thing, is they were taken from his lawyer without his consent and making them illegally obtained, which there's probably a shred of something to that, I would say. But for everything he's done, it's out fucking Wade. And this isn't a question of whether he did it. There's DNA. He admitted it. He's the only one with her.
Yeah.
It matches his whole thing of tying people up and fucking raping them and killing them.
He just wants to justify the behavior. He's not disagreeing. He just wants to say, I didn't do this shit.
Yep.
The way you say I did this shit.
Yep. The state argues that the records were not confidential and that the evaluations of Crawford were done in anticipation of his rape and assault trial, meaning that this was discovery of these records was inevitable.
Yeah.
They were going to come out publicly anyway.
That's a good point.
The only reason they were taken was to put in a public forum. This is what they're saying. Now, they did take them in a way that was...
It's a little shady.
They needed to get a court order to do that, but they're saying in these, extenuating circumstances, the girl could have been alive. They needed to figure out how they could get him to tell them where the girl was.
Okay.
Because she could have been alive. They're trying to save someone's life, is what they say.
I'll buy that.
You know what? In this situation, fucking good enough for me.
Yeah.
Jury does not take very long to find him guilty as balls, which is what the foreman said. Your Honor, we find him guilty as balls.
Guilty as he is crazy, sir. As shit.
As shit. He thinks he's here for cookies. So this is just... Now, and sentencing comes around very quickly in Mississippi. They run sentencing right up on there. And it doesn't take long for this either. You, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty for this young man here. They did not
27 years old.
Yeah, and they didn't feel too bad about it either for the way he did this. This was a real shitty thing to do, and he didn't have to fucking do this. And even according to the story he told, this girl did nothing but A, try to save her own life, and then B, try to help him once she thought she was safe, which is... fucking even more heartbreaking.
So what year is this that he's convicted? 97?
95.
95. Okay.
Yeah. He's convicted here.
So we got 24 years to get to today.
He has a lot of appeals based on all this mental health shit and legalities and things like that. He 2005, 2006, he appeals Mississippi State Supreme Court. That gets shot down.
Yeah.
There's a big thing with his basically the state of Mississippi does not have the resources to do like all of this post-conviction work. They just don't have resources. So
just like contracting it out.
No, if you're like a public legal person there, you're just overwhelmed with I've seen documentaries on these poor people down there in the South where it's really underfunded offices to try to,
you got a time limit.
That's the thing, a big time limit here. In 2013, he's looking for a new trial based on a bunch of different factors, and a three-judge panel from the 5th U.S. Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. Jesus, on Tuesday, they upheld a 2012 decision, which also told him to go fuck his mother, not. Literally in prison, figuratively.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, call your cellmate and call him mom.
Yeah,
that's all. Do that.
Feel like you might try,
and then have some cookies afterwards. So he said he was deprived his Sixth Amendment right to counsel related to the psychiatric evaluation, and they said that prosecutors presented enough evidence to the trial to uphold his conviction and sentence, even if the evaluation had not occurred. So they said you were still fucked. DNA, confessions, doesn't matter. They said so the constitutional error was harmless, and he is not entitled to post-conviction relief. You, sir, continue to fuck off. 2016. Trial attorneys say they failed to to obtain a complete psychological evaluation in preparation for trial. They try to say that the state purposely kept that from them. They say his lawyer writes, quote, although I used an insanity defense in all three of Mr. Crawford's trials, I did not retain a mental health expert to conduct for a forensic evaluation of Mr. Crawford. Instead, I relied on the Parchman psychiatric Dr. Stanley Russell, who treated Mr. Crawford during his period of incarceration prior to the murder trial, and another doctor, blah, blah, blah. They gave conflicting assessments and diagnosis of Mr. Crawford. I believe the inadequacies of their evaluations arose because we didn't have the resources to conduct a thorough and reliable investigation of his background. So he's saying that, they didn't get to check into it. Maybe if they had everything and they had this resources. He said that he had recently been made aware of neurological and psychiatric examinations done earlier in 2013, and that might be able to help him, and that should have been whatever it was. That guy's co-counsel said, we did not use the services of a mitigation investigator for this case. We did not file a motion requesting funds to hire a mitigation investigator. These are people to find shit that make them not kill him.
Right.
Yeah, for mitigation, for sentencing only here. They did not seek funds to hire a mental health expert, neuropsychologist, to evaluate and test him. And they said the testing was probably necessary in hindsight here. So he says, well, obviously my attorneys were inadequate, so that's bad representation and all the psychiatric shit. Why don't you just give me a new trial? He said, I'm having seizures, all this shit. They go, yeah, well, there was never any pretrial diagnosis of epilepsy, so you might have pulled that out of your ass too. He says, but I don't recollect the kidnapping. And they went, too fucking bad. Doesn't matter. You did do it, so that's okay. He says he doesn't remember the burglary, the rape, the murder, none of this stuff. He said the epileptic episodes must be what it is. Jesus Christ, man. No, I don't think so here. With that, all of this is rejected. They said none of this flies because, it's
a duck with no wings.
It's a duck with no wings, man. It's really hard to, once you're convicted, you have to have new evidence or evidence of severe misconduct or severe legal ass fucking.
Convicted.
Yeah.
The system.
They have to show that you were intentionally ass fucked, or you were, it has to be something like that. You can't just be,
bananas.
That wasn't a good enough trial. Well, tough shit. I mean, that's just the way it works in this country.
I didn't do it, wasn't good enough.
Yeah, I mean, for good or for ill, it's just the way it is, and whatever. So, they said they want to have him, evaluated even more. They said that the trial experts didn't have access to his records, blah, blah, blah. In his affidavit, in an affidavit, someone from the public defense office writes an affidavit saying, due to severe staffing and resource shortages, the office was drowning in work when I started here. I had to manage an excessive caseload with very limited resources and virtually no professional litigation support, including the use of experts. And it goes on to basically say how anybody who's convicted, who's going for any kind of post-conviction relief in Mississippi is fucked because they have no resources and no time to even investigate resources if they did have them.
Well, they've got this dude's DNA. Run that shit through the machine again.
That's the thing
when
here.
It comes up 300 bazillion to 1, let's stop talking.
That's it. Well, his strategy is he argued in court documents that if the rape conviction is reversed based on all this shit, then he would have the right to have his death sentence thrown out and a new sentencing hearing, because that would have been the aggravator that got him the death penalty, was the rape on Christie. So they said a reversal of the earlier rape conviction would mean nothing because of the abundance of evidence supporting the death sentence. They also said that he was convicted of aggravated assault in an earlier trial, another aggravating factor used to justify the death penalty. Either way,
what about the other one,
you're
dude?
Fucked 6 ways from Sunday, no matter how you fucking put it.
So
he tries to another appeal based on the drugs, the execution drugs that they don't have down there. And a 5-4 ruling by the Mississippi Supreme Court revived a lawsuit that brought this up. And so this is still going on about this. It says that this particular pentobarbital is not approved by the FDA and will cause him to experience a torturous death by suffocation and cardiac arrest. So Jimmy feels very bad for him after what he did to these fucking women. So basically, he's awaiting death and he can keep fucking off. Have a good one. No cookies for you. And you know what his last meal is going to be. Hugs and cookies. You know it's going to be there.
There will be cookies involved.
Oh, there will be cookies. That's all he wants is fucking cookies. So he is in prison in Mississippi awaiting execution. And poor Christy, God, that's terrible. She's born in Germany, Christy, by the way. She's which is interesting.
Probably a military brat.
Something like that, maybe. Born in Germany, and she is buried in Mississippi at the Tippah County at the Campground United Methodist Church Cemetery. Poor thing, and that's
Sue's
just fucking terrible.
Deal with that shit for the rest of her life too.
Sue,
Sue's still got that in her memory.
I bet you anything Sue feels guilty for not shooting him, for not fucking shooting him.
Yeah,
because if that could have saved Christie's
life.
And who knows what he's done in between? Who knows if there's other things? There's 2 years in between that rape and that murder. Seems like he figured out when you
do it, you get rid of them.
You get rid of them because when they're alive, they can tell on you. So it feels like that's what he learned, that lesson. And so I don't know, but Jesus Christ, what a asshole that guy is.
Unreal.
I just want to jam cookies down his throat till he fucking drowns in them.
I'd like to see how many we could get into his mouth and versus how many I could get up his ass.
And nose and wherever else. Let's have a contest.
Do you think I could get a Hydrox up his ass without crushing it?
Yeah, I think you could. I think we could do it if we tried. I think if we really gave it a shot, I think we could work it out. I'll get a funnel.
Do they come in a sleeve? Because you could just jam the whole sleeve up
there. Yeah, that'd be good. Well, we can make a sleeve.
Like a saltine?
Yeah, we can make a sleeve. You know what? They have like those Dixie cup holders next to the water coolers. We get one of those and use that as a fucking... like the plastic applicator, and then we fucking shove the cookies through.
Like a Hydrox
tampon. And then I shove them up into his large intestine, just as far as it'll go, through his colon.
Like the old story, the joke is that you could use
use a Pringles container. Fuck it. We need it good and wide.
Better.
You never know.
I was thinking about a bounty roll.
There you go. Like, no, that's way too small.
That's what they say. That's how you get a gerbil in there.
Oh, Jesus. Well,
you put the gerbil in one end, jam the fucking thing up.
You can fit a huge gerbil if you use a Pringles can, is what I'm saying.
A guinea pig.
So let's use a Pringles can and see what we can fit up there.
Let's get a guinea pig's worth of Hydrox.
Let's get a guinea pig carrying some Hydrox. I don't care. Put something.
We will feed the Hydrox to the guinea pig.
Put something up this man's ass now.
A potato gun.
I don't care. Fuck this guy. That's Walnut, Mississippi, everybody.
Oh, boy.
And that is Charles Ray Crawford and poor Christy, or Charles Crawford and poor Christy Ray. And it's Charles Ray Crawford and it's Christy Ray.
Right.
So there's no relation, but that's just his middle name.
And then Sue. And then what was the first one?
Poor Sue and Nicole Cutcliffe. And Sue, we won't use her real name. Like I said, there's certain documents where they don't use her name, and then there's court documents where they do.
Fucking jerks.
But I mean, she might have been okay with it, or it might have. This was later in that other trial.
Okay.
So it might have.
She's still a child victim.
That's the thing. It's when she was testifying, they had her name in there because she wasn't a victim in that trial. She was a witness.
Right.
So they used her name, and that's who it is. So yeah, we won't use her name. It doesn't matter. She's been through enough.
Yeah.
Poor Sue's been through fucking enough here.
It's plenty.
So if you like that story, if you're a sick bastard, tell us about it, damn it. Get on iTunes or that purple icon, Apple Podcast, whatever the shit it is, and give us a review. Give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. It's not for our egos. No. It's just to drive us up the charts. It really, really helps on the business end, so we'd appreciate it. Also, go to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything small town murder and everything crime and sports. Listen to crime and sports. You are missing so many people, small town murder listeners, wait years to listen to Crime and Sports, and then they listen to Crime and Sports. Then they tweeted us, oh my God, I don't know what I was thinking. You guys should have told me to listen more. We're like, we fucking put it out every week. That's telling you to listen.
Goddamn week.
We tell you constantly. So honestly, you're it's not whatever you think it is. It's probably not that. It's probably something way more fun.
It's good enough for other people to kind of do the same format.
That's the thing. Yeah, lots of people. It's been stolen a few times
now.
Very recently. That people are just like, let's just steal their idea.
There were 0 sports crimes shows. Yeah. Now there are several.
Now there are several as of 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
So we had it all to ourselves for a couple years there. That's all right.
We had it too goddamn good for too goddamn long.
You can imitate it, but it's not going to duplicate it whatsoever. We're going to they're not as good as us. Put it that way. And I say that with all. I feel awful about myself all the time. I say that with no ego whatsoever. We're way better than those fucking idiots. So that said, thank you for doing that. Get your tickets to upcoming live shows over at shutupandgivememurder.com, along with all your t-shirts and overnight bags and mugs and shower curtains and all sorts of shit. You can have a "You Sir May Fuck Off" shower curtain.
You can.
You want that. Trust me. So, get all that stuff there. Tickets to upcoming live shows.
I want to send those to people that take that show.
I know, right? That's hilarious. This weekend, we are in Raleigh on Friday. Yes. Sold out as of right now. Well, it's not going to be not as of right now. Sold out. It's on Thursday. Yeah. Friday in Charlotte. That's 6 p.m. show for some reason. Yeah. Still some tickets available for that. And then some tickets available also for Friday or Sunday night in Atlanta at the Buckhead. Come see us there. Rest of the tour, like we said, there's some in Philly, D.C. Those are the main ones. There's like 50 tickets left in Chicago for December. Yeah. Less than 50, so grab those right now because they're going quick. And everything else is sold out. Houston has like 50
let's
tickets
party
left.
This weekend.
Let's do it. We're going to have fun. We're going down south. It's going to be like 95 degrees and humid. It's going to be worse there than Phoenix.
Hurricane named Karen coming.
Oh, Jesus.
Let's flip birds to Karen in the front yard.
And you know what? Tell us about it. Show us a picture of you flipping Karen the bird on our social media. You can do that at Small Town Murder on Instagram, at Murder Small on Twitter, and at Small Town Pod on Facebook. You can find all that there. And if you want to be a superstar, one of our producers, we're going to talk about them in just a moment, how much we love these people. We're going to gush. People that keep this show going and make the show so we don't have to do terrible ads for dick pills and weird shit that you people don't want. And we reject a lot of ads. That's why you'll see there's a lot of shows our length that have like 10 ads on them. Right. We don't play that shit at all. We don't want that. And we specifically tell the network we don't want that and we won't have that, which, as you can imagine, they're not thrilled about it.
No.
You mean we can make a lot more money and we're not? Yup. Because we want to keep the show good and we can do that because of your guys' donation. So thank you for doing that. And if you want to be one of our producers, you can do that over at patreon.com/crime and sports or head over to PayPal. Make a one-time donation using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. And like we said, it's your show because you do that. That's why we try to give you what you want and not what networks or ad people or any of those fucking idiots want. Just what you want. So that said, I got to know the people, Jimmy. Hit me with them like a framing hammer.
This week's executive producers are Jennifer Diedrich or Dedrick, Rebecca Valdez, Karen Lewis, Samantha Simmons, James Brian Templeton, Keith Chrisman, Erica Anderson, Christopher Borland, Britton Edwards, April Murillo, Stephen Rude, Kimberly Minkler, Chrissy-Ann Castaldi, and Jana. Oh, it's Jana Dickens. Thank you guys so much for everything you do.
Thank you, everybody.
We're here because of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Amazing.
Other producers this week are Brendan Abels. He donated both ways. Thanks Brendan. Laura Barber, Nicole Mayone, Kaylee McPhail, Kezia Garcia, Becca Sanchez. Didn't I just say that a minute ago? Yeah, no, that's Valdez. Sorry. Fuck. I'm a
racist bastard,
shit.
Jimmy.
Listen, you're right.
Ladies and gentlemen, my partner, Andrew Jackson.
Michelle Rayo Williams, Robin Roos, Alexander Jacobson, Rosie O. Hernandez, Joanna Nowajewski, Ashley Simpson, Matthew Novosel, Bradley Parks, Ashley Braden, Susan McWilkin, Jeremy Roost or Rust, Alexandra Alexandra Zawicki, BT, that's initials, B and a T. Luis Messam or Louis Messam, or Louise. No, there's no E. That's Louis. Victoria Chris Persinger, Kayleen, Abby Meister, Caro Maddie, Will Trendle, Kyle with no last name, Timothy Plasinski, Christine with no last name, Nikki Dunn.
Like, I'm going to leave it at that. Yep.
Casey Huffman in Omaha. Thank you, Casey.
Thank you.
Emily Schenkel. Sean Bob Kelly.
Hey.
That may be one name or three names.
Sean Bob.
Jen Murphy. Stephanie Shupter Hall. Hope Monterey. What did I do? I think it's Monterey. I think that's right. Jen Griffin. William Gerveler. Trey Litton. Dia Carey, I think. Deah. That's like Leah, but with a D, right? Dia?
Yeah,
it's got to be Dia. I think.
Yeah.
Derek Pearson, Marshall Walker. Karen Ray, Rachel Robbins, Craig with no last name, Nancy Markheimer, Maxheimer, Garrett Maddox, Anthony Caterino, Elizabeth Tyson, Richard Reyes, Ian Michaels, Stephanie Suika. I've got all this pressure on me to try harder, and it's not working. Bonnie Ramsey, Piers DeCourcy, Colby Moore, Barbara Wexler, Sarah Domazersky. No, Dumaresk.
I'm sounded drunk when he said Dumaresk.
William Hamer, Brittany Mejas, Mejas, Jaime or Jamie Garay, Caroline or Carolyn Steffens, Eve Ill. Nope, it's evil. That's what that is. But
right.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
Michael Bartholomew, Tree Smash. That's what that is. Jessica Lightke, T, no last name, no first name, just a T. Patrick Haberly, Lenore Hare, Kyra Bai, Cliff Brink, Jill Smith, Heather Morris, Erica Akiri, William Hickson III, Junior's Junior, Adina Goodwin, Katarina White, Anthony Ataninka, Michelle Garrison, Sharon Kirkpatrick, Homestretch Elizabeth Kelly, Trenton Walker, Keely Haig, Chelsea Running, I think it's Running. God, that's the easiest word. And Amy Thomas, Ashley Vio, Brando Marks, which I think, no, that can't be right. That's probably right. Mary Parrish Yancey, Ethan Baba, Ethel. I don't know if that's April Burridge, Linda Friend, Jane Greaser, Brittany Mencody, Ashley Legg, Margie Coonsey, got that one. Alexis Ohms, Amy Pajak, Armada Designs. That's why, because it's a business. Fuck. Sarah Hart, Jamie Kisk. No, Jamie K is a twat. That's what that one is. Okay. I don't know who she is, Jamie. But sorry, Jamie. I'm told that you are a twat from Amber Swisher. Kirsten Show, Allison Blazek, Aaron Fedor, Aaron Workman also, Mark Pfister. No, that's Foster. Angela Harden,
Pfister.
Hardly know her. Jesse Hartman, Emily Stuck, Joan Pearl, Gary Howard. Again, thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Gary.
Abdul John or Jan, Lauren Miller, Iron Tree Craftworks, Fran Hitsky in Australia. Sean and Edith Benson, Stacy Manley, Beverly Novak, Clay Thorson. He had a great vacation with his wife. Congratulations to both of you. And that's Melissa. Natalie Bland, Greg Aote, Robert Willis, Jessica Laka, Allison Ray, Jacqueline Donaldson, Zach McCabe, Jay Hurst or Holst, Tracy Renninger, Fayanez, Jordan Bennett, Zach McIntosh, Love Donation. I don't know what Love Donation is.
Well, thank you.
That's for loving us. Beth Grimwood, Nathan Little, Ellie Hennessy, Robin Anderson, Dominique Ashcraft, Ida Marie Toll, Adina Hampton, I said that, Gabrielle Rebus, Joe White, and Blogorama. Thank you guys so much for everything you do.
Thank you so much to everybody out there for everything you do. Honestly, guys, you keep the show what it is. So if you like it, then that helps a lot because we don't have to do anything differently.
Right.
And anyone who tells us to, we can go, yeah, go fuck yourself. We'd rather make our audience happy because
that way.
We feel beholden to them. They're the ones who make us our living, not you. Eat dicks. And so that's what we do. Yeah. So it works out wonderfully. Jimmy, what if they wanted to tell you to eat dicks? Where could they do so?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks, on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
Chat with someone snatch. That's what it should be called.
And if you have something, if you send a donation and you want something said for somebody else, just send it there. Liz Vasquez lost her cat Millie. That is a fucking
sorry,
bummer.
Liz.
I'm so sorry, Liz. And the Blackjack Company 741st Brigade Engineering Battalion is being sent out somewhere. And,
Shit.
So keep
hey,
the show
be careful.
with you and be safe, you guys.
Be safe. Come
Thanks
back.
for what you do for us. We appreciate it. And Tiffany Bourne, I forgot her, so we have her there.
Oh, well, great.
Thank you all so much for everything you do for us. We can't do it without you, and we really I really enjoy hearing the personal stuff. Like, like the Brigade 741st. I don't know. Does that mean they send 740 of them before them?
I mean, probably not in a row.
Probably not.
I mean, they probably jump around on the numbers, I would think. We'll send them. We'll send 348. We'll send,
741, you're up!
We'll send 962 sometimes.
Fuck on the plane.
Who knows? You guys.
ABQ cookie time!
Let's go. Cookies on the plane.
What about you?
Oh, Matt Jimmie P is funny, or just copy and paste my last name from the show description. Find me that way, damn it, and keep coming back every week and listening. We will not go anywhere, and we'll be back next week. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.